September, up to 510,000 households compared with 459,000 in August. The department says the number of evictions remains below historical averages. John Scott reporting.
The third quarter was not kind to the bottom line of aircraft manufacturer Boeing. The Chicago-based company lost $109 million July through September. The company has been struggling with production problems that have blocked deliveries of the 787, a large plane popular on international airline routes. Let's get on Wall Street. Dow futures up 30 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Today's KSVIP is Terry Mullins. Terry is the Vice President at PVT, and this is a big thanks for all that you do for the community. It is all greatly appreciated. Today, Terry, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Terry Mullins.
Just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy. My class there at MIT. Got skills, I'm a champion of D&D.
Well, hey, good morning, and welcome once again to the Good Morning Artesia radio show, where we are going to roll through a Wednesday, October 27th, 2021. Hard to believe we're already pretty much done with the year. And I don't mean to say that there's not stuff still to come up this year. We got Halloween this weekend. We have Thanksgiving next month. We have Christmas after that, although we've been told there probably won't be a Christmas because it's all stuck on shipping containers off the coast of California and New York. But in any case, here we are on Wednesday, and exciting day yesterday. We had on our channel yesterday, we had NMMI volleyball, Artesia volleyball, Goddard volleyball, Goddard girls soccer, Artesia girls soccer, Artesia boys soccer. So I think we had all of that out there. And not all the results were happy for the home team, if you will. The Goddard girls soccer team won their game 6-0. The Artesia girls soccer team won their game 2-0, but the Artesia boys soccer team fell to St. Pius in the first overtime 1-0. Goddard boys soccer team were eliminated from the playoffs by Taos yesterday in Taos. And in volleyball, I was at the soccer field. We were doing the soccer games yesterday, and I was checking in on the volleyball team and we finished the boys' game, and we did that on the radio and the TV, and then we turned over the radio station and everything to Joby and Robbie at the volleyball. So I made sure that was on and everything. And then after we got, maybe it was halftime of the girls' soccer game, and I pulled up the video feed from the pit, and I'm like, I mean, we're down 2-0, 2 sets to none. What's going on here? And then the Lady Bulldogs won set 3. They won set 4 and sent it to a fifth set. And then Portales just kind of stormed out in that fifth set. So they go on to win in 5, 3-2 over Artesia last night. Handed the Lady Bulldogs their first loss in district play last night. So that was, Portales was tough. We knew they were going to be tough, and turned out that they were tough. Let's see, what does that do? I know last night the Goddard Rockets played Lovington, and I think they won last night. So you've got a 3-way tie through the first half of the district season. Artesia 2-1, their loss at the hands of Portales. Goddard 2-1, their loss at the hands of Artesia. And Portales is 2-1, and I think their one loss is at the hands of Goddard. So yeah, because they beat Lovington, they beat Artesia 3-2. They beat Lovington 3-0. Goddard swept Portales on the 19th, 3-0. So it's a jumble up through the first half of the district season, and the thing for Artesia is they've had 2 road games and 1 home game, and their wins were they've had 2 home games and 1 road game, and they've split at home. They're 1-1 at home. They're 1-0 on the road. So the second half of the district season will start on Tuesday. And let's see, how is that going to be? That is going to be on Tuesday. And Artesia on Tuesday will be at home against Lovington. So volleyball team has 3 games left. They don't play Tuesday. I'm sorry, they're off Tuesday. They play this Saturday. And then they play Tuesday and Saturday of next week. So Saturday, the second half of the volleyball season starts with a home game against Lovington. Then they finish on the road. So the Saturday home game is the last home game for Artesia in the volleyball season, and they'll host Lovington at 2 o'clock on Saturday afternoon. They finish up next week at Goddard on Tuesday, and then at Portales 1 week from Saturday. So you have 3 games left on your district season, 2 of them on the road. So interesting to see how that all shakes out. As far as the girls' soccer team is concerned, they are continuing on in the NMAA, the Fuddruckers State Tournament, and they will be playing against Los Alamos, and that game is not yet been scheduled, but it's going to be this weekend, either Friday or Saturday, in Los Alamos, and that's a 5 versus 4. Artesia being the 5, Los Alamos being the 4. Goddard advanced with their win 6-0, and so they will be at Albuquerque Academy this weekend. Aztec with the 9-8 upset beat Moriarty 2-0. They'll get number 1 St. Pius this weekend. And then in the other round of 12, the 7 beat the 10, Valencia over Bloomfield 2-1. And so Valencia gets to travel to Hope Christian for the number 2 team in 4A. So it's Hope Christian hosting Valencia, Goddard traveling to Albuquerque Academy, Artesia traveling to Los Alamos, and Aztec traveling to St. Pius this weekend for the quarterfinal round of the 2021 Fuddruckers Girls Soccer State Championship. For us, that is the end of video for soccer. The video that happens this weekend, if there's video this weekend, will be through the NFHS Network subscription service. So you will need to pay money for a subscription. Now, the good news is it's a subscription, so you're not buying it by the game. So we've got football playoffs coming up here next month. We've got the girls soccer coming up. We've got the volleyball state tournament coming up next month. So if you go ahead and buy the subscription, you could pay for October. I think it's a 30-day subscription. So it's entirely possible that for 1 month's subscription, you could see the girls' soccer games this week, and hopefully next week you would see the volleyball here in a couple weeks in the state tournament and the football playoffs once they get to where they're beyond our ability to cover them. If they're here at the Bulldog Bowl, we're covering them, the football games in the playoffs. But if they go out of town, that's difficult for us to be able to get the rights to do that. So, and then the state championship game is we never get the opportunity to do that because that belongs to the NMAA. But it may be worth a 1 month subscription to get it with the soccer, volleyball, and football playoffs coming up between now and the end of November, and then cancel it. So you're just paying for 1 month. And then in March, buy it for the basketball state championship tournament. Then cancel it. And then buy it again in May for the baseball and softball championship games. And that way you're only spending, $35 for the year instead of $12 a month. Because it's either that or you got to cancel Netflix, It's either the NMAA subscription or Netflix. You got to make the call there. All right, let's see what kind of weather we're going to have today. Hopefully not as windy as yesterday, Steve.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A cold front is moving into eastern New Mexico. That'll keep our temperatures pretty comfortable today with low to mid 70s, but the wind will be gusty up to 35 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, upper 30s and clear for the overnight hours and breezy. And then not as windy tomorrow. We'll stay around 70 on our afternoon high with sunshine, warming back up to the mid 70s and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Right now, we've got sunshine, 51 degrees. There's still a wind advisory in effect for the Eddy County Plains from the National Weather Service. The wind advisory remains in effect from 9 a.m. this morning until 4 o'clock this afternoon. Portions of southeast New Mexico and southwest and western Texas. Gusty winds could blow around unsecured objects. Tree limbs could be blown down, and a few power outages may result. Really? Northwest winds 25 to 35 with gusts up to 45 expected, according to the National Weather Service. Humidity at 31%. The dew point is 22 degrees. Our winds are from the northwest at 16 miles per hour. Pressure at 29.88 and rising. Our air quality index is 41. So we have good air quality this morning. Sun will set at 6:10 this afternoon, set at 7:12 in the morning. Looking around the region, we've got 51 degrees in Carlsbad, 52 in Roswell, 51 in Hobbs. Around New Mexico, Albuquerque, mostly clear, 41, 33 in Santa Fe. Sunny and 27 in Cloudcroft, 35 in Ruidoso. Clear, 46 in Las Cruces. Mostly clear, 35 in Farmington. Clear and 29 in Red River. Sunny and 46 at Clovis. And over there in the Free State of Texas, mostly sunny, 51 degrees in Lubbock. And again here in Artesia, sunshine, 51 degrees. You know, I've said the main reason I would want to go to Lubbock would be to get those tenders from that Cane's place over there. Lana sent me a note last night. I'm doing the soccer game and my phone is blowing up with all these links. It looks like Raising Cane's is going to be coming to Albuquerque. So that's kind of interesting. So that's what we have there. Lunch menus. We've got morning sausage roll in the Artesia schools today. Lunch today will be cheesy macaroni with chicken, broccoli, garlic bread, and sliced apples. So it's cheesy macaroni with chicken for lunch today in the Artesia Public Schools. At the senior meal site today, baked ham, sweet potatoes, carrots with peppers, pineapple upside down cake. So it's baked ham at the senior meal site today. Busy day at the senior center. They'll start with the exercise video at 8:15. The Tops Club Takeoff Pound Sensibly group meets starting at 9. The jewelry class is at 9:30. Beginner line dancing is at 9:30. And then after lunch, the wood burning group meets at 1. The bridge group meets at 1. They'll throw the dominoes on the table and play train at 1 o'clock. The sewing group will start sewing at 1:30, and they'll wrap up the day with the exercise video at 4 o'clock this afternoon. Folks who are celebrating birthdays today on this 27th day of October include Idala Lehman, Flora Garcia, Danny Utley, Esmerita Olguin, and Roseanne Salee. So Idala, Flora, Danny, Esmerita, and Roseanne, happy birthday today. Hope you have a wonderful day today. Somebody should bring you something special. That should happen today, so make it so. School calendar today for this Wednesday, October 27th, has the choir all-state auditions for the high school bunch. That'll be taking place today at the Artesia High School. Okay, I think we got all that taken care of. A funny lawsuit story. We'll share that with you. That's coming up next on Good Morning Artesia.
The Artesia Special Hospital District will hold a special election on November 2nd, 2021. Voters will decide whether to continue the current mill levy that funds operating expenses for the district. The hospital district is asking to continue the mill levy at its current level, $2.70 per $1,000 of assessed taxable property value. The mill levy allows Artesia General Hospital to fund services and improvements that might not otherwise be possible. A yes vote is tax neutral and is not expected to increase the burden on taxpayers. It continues a tax already in place. Approval of the mill levy will allow the Artesia Special Hospital District to continue to expand and improve to meet the health care needs of this community. Citizens can vote at the Eddy County Clerk's sub-office located at 602 South 1st Street, Faith Baptist Church at 401 South 20th, the Trinity Temple Church at 16th and Hermosa Drive, or CVE at 1403 North 13th Street on November 2nd. Absentee voting can be done in person at the Eddy County Clerk's sub-office from October 5th until October 15th, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. Early voting can be done at the Eddy County Clerk's sub-office from October 16th until October 30th from 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Monday through Friday, and Saturday from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m.
It's the big October savings produce sale at Finn's Country Market in Artesia. Fresh, extra-large red, green, or black seedless grapes, $1.99 a pound. Salad-size avocados, 2 for $1. U.S. #1 russet potatoes, 5-pound bag, $1.29 each. And Growers Pride orange juice, 59-ounce container, 2 for $5 at Fens Country Market in Artesia. And right now, Pepsi all flavors, 2-liter bottles, 5 for $5 at Fens Country Market in Artesia.
During this challenging time, students will be relying on the internet to learn. As your trusted local provider, PVT is committed to our community and is offering free broadband for 60 days to households with K through 12 and or college students who do not already have PVT internet and are within the PVT service area. This comes with no data caps, no contract, no installation fee, and no deposit. To find out more information or to enroll, call 575-748-1241 or visit pvt.com.
Family fun awaits you at Night of the Living Zoo, happening October 29th and 30th from 5 to 9 p.m. each day at the Spring River Zoo in Roswell. Bring out the whole family for trick-or-treating, fun games and activities, all part of a frightful, fun family night. Get your tickets now. Pre-purchase your tickets online at roswellconnect.com. Night of the Living Zoo, October 29th and 30th at the Spring River Zoo on East College in Roswell. Come and enjoy some family fun, if you dare.
First American Bank offers mobile banking for our business and personal customers. With our mobile apps, you are able to check your balances, pay your bills, transfer funds, set up transaction alerts, and more, all from the convenience of your phone at any time or from anywhere. Plus, with Snap Deposit, you can make deposits by taking a picture of the check with your phone. Shop your app store to download your mobile apps today. First American Bank, your community bank since 1903. Member FDIC.
Water, 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 water. Everyone drinks water. Water, 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 water. Artesia soft water. No one treats your water better than Artesia soft water. 1405 West Main, Artesia, New Mexico. 575-746-3822. And why? Water, 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 water. Everyone drinks water. Water, 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 water. Artesia soft water.
Hey, CVE members, have you scheduled your no-cost home energy audit? If not, we're getting close to fall and cooler weather. It's time to sign up. Call 575-746-3571 to get your name on the list for a free home energy audit. Weather stripping, new door sweeps, minor repairs, and much more. Start saving money and keep that purchased air in your home. Central Valley Electric is happy to partner with Green Metal Energy for this valuable audit. Again, 575-746-3571 to sign up. Call now.
Artesia Plumbing and Heating is your authorized Carrier air conditioning dealer. Home owned and operated for over 41 years. Artesia Plumbing and Heating installs residential, commercial, and industrial air conditioners. Artesia Plumbing and Heating handles your plumbing, heating, and air conditioning needs, including the conversion of evaporative coolers to refrigerated air systems. Cut cooling costs with high-efficiency Carrier unit. Artesia Plumbing and Heating is a proud supporter of the Artesia Bulldogs and Lady Dogs and wishes them the very best in this sports season. Artesia Plumbing and Heating, 746-3712.
Welcome back. By the way, if you go to the KSVPTV.com channel and you click on the soccer side of things, we've got highlights, the scoring highlights from the two games that we did last night. So check those out. So have you ever thought about this? When you've gotten strawberry Pop-Tarts, have you ever grabbed a strawberry Pop-Tart and popped it in the toaster, warmed it up, taken a bite out of it, and go, boy, I wish there were more strawberries in here? Apparently that's one woman from New York State hired a lawyer, and she is now seeking $5 million from Kellogg, accusing the popular cereal company of misleading customers into thinking its strawberry Pop-Tarts contain more strawberries than they actually do. So for $5 million, that's how much she's been damaged by this lack of clarity on the part of Kellogg and Pop-Tarts. The suit, filed October 19 in the Southern District of New York, is the latest in a series of class action suits against Kellogg for variations of the same allegation, namely that Kellogg misrepresents the ingredients of strawberry Pop-Tarts in marketing and packaging to sell them at a premium price. The suit alleges, quote, the product's common or usual name of whole grain frosted strawberry toaster pastries, unquote, is false, deceptive, and misleading because it contains mostly non-strawberry fruit ingredients. In a statement to the Washington Post, a Kellogg spokesperson said that the company does not comment on pending litigation and, quote, the ingredients in and labeling of all of our Pop-Tart products fully comply with all legal requirements. Well, that doesn't necessarily answer the question. Are there sufficient strawberries in strawberry Pop-Tarts? I don't know. Now, the plaintiff is Elizabeth Russett of Dutchess County in New York. She's demanding a jury trial and $5 million in compensation under the Class Action Fairness Act. She is represented by attorney Spencer Sheehan of Sheehan and Associates, which is the same firm that is representing another plaintiff in New York and one in Illinois who also accused Kellogg of misleading them into thinking strawberry Pop-Tarts contain strawberries. Well, and I guess if you see a box that says strawberry Pop-Tarts, I'm assuming that they should contain strawberries. Now, the Post, in a small, tiny bit of reporting, pointed out that Sheehan, the lawyer in the case, is known to frequently file lawsuits against major food companies. Law Street Media, a legal news service owned by legal software provider Fastcase, analyzed fraud cases filed in the United States since 2019 and found that Sheehan filed 2 to 3 fraud suits per week on average in the first few months of 2021. His law firm filed the most food-related fraud lawsuits in federal courts of any firm in the past 2 years. Sheehan told the publication, I lose a lot more than most people. Russett's complaint, this is the lady that is filing the suit, alleges that strawberry Pop-Tarts contain more pears and apples than strawberries, and that the amount of strawberry they contain, quote, is insufficient not merely to provide the nutrient benefits of strawberries, but to provide a strawberry taste. According to the suit, Kellogg uses vegetable juice for color and paprika extract color to give strawberry Pop-Tarts their vivid red coloring. The complaint alleges that the company charges a higher price than consumers would likely refuse to pay if they knew how little strawberries were in the Pop-Tarts, citing data from the U.S. Department of Agriculture, which shows that strawberries are almost 50% more expensive than pears. The complaint states strawberries are the world's most popular berry fruit. The plaintiff in the case likes strawberries for the same reason. They are America's #1 berry fruit. So, that is happening. There's a lady in New York State who buys the strawberry Pop-Tarts, the whole grain strawberry Pop-Tarts, and it doesn't taste like strawberries. It looks like it's got more apples and pears in it than strawberries, and they're using food coloring to give the appearance that it's full of strawberries. It doesn't even taste like it has strawberries. Have you ever had the whole grain strawberry Pop-Tarts. Can you confirm or verify for us whether or not it tastes strawberry enough for you? Would you hire a lawyer, demand a jury trial, and ask for $5 million because your strawberry Pop-Tarts are not strawberry enough? 7:34. Let's see what we have here.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. The Eddy County Sheriff is warning of yet another scam making the rounds. It's a familiar one, though. Sheriff Mark Cage says the office in the last few days has received numerous reports that someone is calling, claiming to be Sergeant Ray Williams of the Eddy County Sheriff's Office. The caller tells the potential victim that they have an active warrant for their arrest, and then the caller demands that you go get a prepaid gift card in order to pay a fine. Please always remember that no law enforcement agency in the country operates in this manner, and if someone is demanding that you pay a fine with a prepaid gift card, that is always a scam. New Mexico reaching a grim milestone on Tuesday, having more than 5,000 deaths from COVID-19. Most of those hospitalized with the virus were unvaccinated. Health officials say 93% of the 1,039 people who died in New Mexico from the virus from February to October were not vaccinated. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Now more than ever, you need to stay as healthy as possible. At Lowell's Pharmacy, we want to help by providing flu shots and COVID-19 vaccines. Now is the time to come into Lowell's Pharmacy for your flu shot. Employers can schedule with Lowell's to conduct a flu shot clinic at your place of business. And it's okay to get your flu shot and COVID-19 vaccination at the same time. You will have to register for your vaccine at nmvaccine.org. The key to staying healthy is exercise, eat nutritional foods, keep up your appointments with your doctor, and get the flu shot and COVID-19 vaccine at Lowell's Pharmacy, across from the hospital on North 13th in Artesia.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report, and we've got some soccer scores to pass along to you. A good day for Artesia girls. Oh, so close for the Artesia boys. In the girls' game yesterday, Artesia, this is a playoff game, opening round. Artesia, the 5th seed, knocks off 12th-seeded Chaparral at home 2-0. Kirsty Nielsen had a goal in the first half, and then Mali Tupu had a goal in the second half. That was all the scoring the Lady Bulldogs would need, and they advance. They'll play 4th-seeded Los Alamos in the next round. Meanwhile, the Artesia boys playing host to St. Pius, traditionally a tough program, and St. Pius wins this one 1-0. The Sartans' goal came in the first overtime, and that's the end of what was a pretty good season for the Artesia boys, who finished 12-7-2 overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio, AM 990.
There's no longer any question that Congress will take action against Facebook and how its algorithms have harmed society. I'm Kim Commando with the one example that's getting the most traction, brought to you by ExpressVPN. Protect your personal data by visiting expressvpn.com/Kim and get an extra 3 months free. 5 years ago, Facebook gave users 5 additional ways to react to a post. Aside from liking, there's love, laugh, wow, sad, or anger. Facebook's engineers discovered that whatever made users angry also led them to use Facebook more, which increased revenues. And whatever angered people was often fake news, misinformation, and sometimes outright lies. Still, Facebook pushed those posts that provoked the anger. The human toll has been unprecedented. Hatred and public distrust have soared. Only now are we learning the full story of Facebook's involvement in the January 6th attack on the Capitol. But there's still a major unanswered question. Why is America angry at everything but Facebook? Get updates at commando.com.
As we age, fatigue and failing endurance can't be fixed with more and more caffeine. Introducing a new way to start your day. Super Beets Heart Chews, a tasty treat that gives you the energy you need, and it's good for you. No more afternoon coffees, energy drinks, and candy for a quick pick-me-up. Just add 2 delicious plant-based Super Beets Heart Chews to your morning routine and promote heart-healthy energy for your day without a caffeine crash. Super Beets Heart Chews' unique, clinically researched grapeseed extract promotes heart-healthy energy and normal blood pressure as part of a healthy lifestyle. The grapeseed extract used in Super Beets Heart Chews has been clinically shown to be 2 times as effective
at supporting normal blood pressure as a healthy lifestyle loan. Join over 1 million customers and get free shipping, free returns, and a 90-day money-back guarantee. And right now, you can get a free 30-day supply with your first purchase at kimsbeats.com. kimsbeats.com.
Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia present a listing of today's obituaries. We do not have any new announcements to share with you, but we do have some reminders of services taking place this week. And that is a funeral mass is scheduled for 10 a.m. tomorrow at Our Lady of Grace Catholic Church for Alicia Rodriguez Chavez, who passed away October 21st at the age of 86 at Eastern New Mexico Medical Center. Rosary will be tomorrow morning at 9:30 a.m. at Our Lady of Grace Church. Public viewing will be this afternoon from 1 to 6 p.m. in the chapel at Turpinning & Son Mortuary. A memorial service is scheduled for 10 a.m. this morning at Trinity Temple Assembly of God for Leela Sherrill of Artesia, New Mexico, who passed away October 16th in Phoenix, Arizona at the age of 72. Pastor Bobby Argo will officiate the services. Cremation will take place under the direction of Turpinning & Son Mortuary. Memorial service will be tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. for Sharon Marie Crawford, who passed away October 20th at her home in Artesia at the age of 78. Funeral services will be Friday, October 29th at 10 a.m. at St. Anthony's Catholic Church for Araceli Pacheco of Artesia, who passed away October 16th at the age of 44. And a memorial service will be held at 1 p.m. Sunday, October 31st at Hope Methodist Church for Ann Bannon of Hope, who passed away October 20th at her home at the age of 78. A meal will follow the services at 25 Landreth Avenue in Hope. This listing has been presented as a service of Turpinning & Son Mortuary of Artesia, where we make it personal. Well, the winds were pretty up there yesterday. Let's see what it's going to be today, Steve.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A cold front is moving into eastern New Mexico. That'll keep our temperatures pretty comfortable today with low to mid 70s, but the wind will be gusty up to 35 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, upper 30s and clear for the overnight hours and breezy. And then not as windy tomorrow. We'll stay around 70 on our afternoon high with sunshine, warming back up to the mid 70s and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Sunshine, 51 here in Artesia, New Mexico. Humidity, 32%. The dew point is 22 degrees. Our winds are from the northwest at 15 miles per hour. Pressure 29.90 and on the rise. Our air quality index reading is 41, so we have good air quality this morning. Got up to 83 yesterday. The overnight low was 46. 1 year ago, the high was 34 and the low was 23. Minimum 4-inch soil temps are between 62 and 63 degrees. The sun will set at 6:10 this afternoon and will rise at 7:12 in the morning. Around the region, sunshine, 51 in Carlsbad and Hobbs, 52 in Roswell. Around New Mexico, mostly sunny, 41 in Albuquerque, 33 in Santa Fe. Sunny and 27 in Cloudcroft, 36 at Ruidoso, 45 at Las Cruces. Mostly sunny, 35 in Farmington, sunny and 30 at Red River, 46 in Clovis, and over there in the free state of Texas, Lubbock, Texas, checking in with mostly sunny and 51. Sunny and 51 here in Artesia, New Mexico. So that's what we've got going on with the weather. Let's check in with the Salem Business Network, see what's affecting the markets today. That's up next on the Good Morning Artesia radio show.
Walked off the job Tuesday to protest what they say is a continuing problem of sexual harassment and violence in the company's stores. Several hundred workers were expected to participate in Chicago, Houston, Miami, Detroit, and other cities, according to a labor group that organized the strikes. Senators put executives from YouTube, TikTok, and Snapchat on the defensive Tuesday, questioning them about what they're doing to ensure young users' safety on their platforms, citing the harm that can come to vulnerable young people from those sites, ranging from eating disorders to exposure to sexually explicit content. On Wall Street, the Dow up 15 points, closing at 35,756. The Nasdaq up 9 to 15,235, and the S&P 500 added 8 points to 4,574. With the SRN News Business Brief, I'm Bill Alexander in Washington.
A pastor once told the true story of a man who experienced a rude awakening in church. Now, he generally slept in church, so he dropped off like he always did, only this time there was a power outage that left the auditorium in total darkness. Now, the pastor didn't use notes, and he just kept right on preaching. Somewhere towards the end of the sermon, the groggy parishioner woke up. He rubbed his eyes, but couldn't see a thing. He heard the preacher, and he could feel his wife and daughter on both sides of him, but everything was pitch black. In a state of panic, he stood up and declared, "Help me, I'm blind." Laughter filled the darkened room, and one complacent church member experienced revival at the altar of embarrassment, and one blessed pastor enjoyed poetic justice. The Bible says in Proverbs 6:4, "Give not sleep to thine eyes, nor slumber to thine eyelids." Are you going through the motions of life in a groggy daze? What's it going to take to wake you up and allow you to see clearly? Maybe you attended church as a child or a young adult, but got busy in life, or maybe you had a hurt somewhere down the line and have drawn away from the house of God. Well, here at New Hope Baptist Church, I can promise you that you'll never be drifting off to sleep in one of our services. New Hope is a place to learn, to love, and to live life with other like-minded families who are ready to show you compassion on your journey. Join us this Sunday at New Hope Baptist Church right here in Artesia, where there's new hope for a new you.
Hey, Bulldog fans! Just like the Bulldogs, you too have a chance to win big on tire rotations and oil changes. TMJ Auto is giving away a free tire rotation and oil change every quarter of the year. Surf onto their website, tmjautorepair.com, and find the Register to Win tab. Your name will be placed in the drawing and no purchase necessary. Plus, find other great deals and savings on tmjautorepair.com.
When was the last time a bank asked you if you'd like to keep more of your money? At Artesia Credit Union, you pay yourself by avoiding big bank fees and all the corporate investors that go along with them. Let Artesia Credit Union help you achieve financial happiness. From home and auto loans to a working line of credit or sending your kids to college, membership is open to anyone who calls New Mexico home. Stop by the branch on 5th Street or log on to artesiacu.org. Artesia Credit Union, member NCUA, an equal housing lender.
Welcome to Answers with Ken Ham, presented by the Coalition of Christians for Biblical Creation and Steve and Cindy Anderson of Napa Auto Parts in Artesia. CCBC is an interdenominational coalition of Christians from Artesia who believe that the account of origins presented in Genesis is a simple but factual presentation of actual events. Answers with Ken Ham is brought to you by Steve and Cindy Anderson of Napa Auto Parts, proudly serving all of your automotive needs, individual and commercial, with quality Napa parts. Now, today's Answers with Ken Ham.
A smarter eye? This is Ken Ham, heading up the ministry that's built a 510-foot-long Noah's Ark. Have you ever heard the claim that our eyes are a bad design? You see, our eyes have a blind spot where the nerves for our eyes enter our retina. Now, evolutionists say a designer would have known better than to make our eyes that way. But the blind spot actually falls in a different place in each retina. That means one eye can supply the information the other eye needs. That means you don't even notice you have a blind spot. As scientists continue to study our eyes, they've realized that their design might not be the expected design, but it's actually the best. The expected design doesn't work as well. God's design is best.
Plan your visit to the Ark Encounter when you go to our website at AnswersRadio.com. This year, children 10 and under are free. Visit AnswersRadio.com.
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, 7:48. Still to come on the show this morning. City Council was scheduled to meet last night, and so we'll have the mayor in with us in the 8 o'clock hour to tell us what was discussed at the City Council meeting last night. 9 o'clock, we'll have our conversation with Aaron Irving and see how the markets are doing, and also our Central Valley Electric Cooperative report is coming up in the 9 o'clock hour as well. Right now, though, joining us, Superintendent of Schools, Mr. John Ross Null, and he's trying not to pull the studio apart.
I am damaging the equipment here. Goodness gracious. Good morning, Gene.
Of course, I could joke and say, how would you know it's been damaged, as old as some of this stuff is?
Well, that is, no comment, Gene.
It's true. It's true. Hey, I know Mr. Phipps was very thankful for the cooperation from the city yesterday. There was the 2 soccer games out at the Mac Chase complex, and with all the wind and the dirt around the area, some city crews showed up with some water trucks and laid down all the dirt, and it wasn't too bad out
No,
there.
it really wasn't too bad, and yeah, we really appreciate that. Just Mr. Phipps thinking about that, and then being able to reach out to folks and just the response and the great partnership there, and it did. It made for a much more tolerable evening at Mac Chase Complex, and boy, had some great soccer games out there. The boys competed hard and just 0-0 into overtime, and then just like that, it was over.
It was over.
But they had a great season, and really proud of them. And then the girls, as you've already said this morning on, multiple times, get to play on.
That's right. So they'll this weekend they'll be traveling out of town and doing that. It was a busy day in town yesterday with all the sports activities going on, and everything seems to happen, get organized, people get where they're supposed to be, and it all seems to work.
It does work out, and there is a lot going on right now. Lots of exciting things that our students are getting to participate in, and ranging from volleyball also played last night, and then coming up next week, of course, we have Election Day on Tuesday, and then Bulldogs on Review coming up later in the week, and then a community-wide growl, community-wide pep rally in conjunction with Balloons and Tunes coming up later in the week next week too, and so sure seems like that's going to be a lot of fun, and Chamber of Commerce is working hard to get that together as well.
Yeah, they're pretty excited about that first non-football event, or one of the few non-football events held in the Bulldog Bowl in recent history.
Yeah, and it seems to be coming together. Jennifer Humble, who is our high school student council sponsor and does a great job with that, she's very involved in getting that organized, and from what I understand, they're organizing a challenge or some challenges for some of us school folks, and so we'll see how that all turns out.
I'm sure it'll work out well for everybody in that. Well, you mentioned the mill levy election on Tuesday. Have you checked to see what kind of numbers have already early voted on that? Has that been curious to you, or you just kind of wait until Tuesday night?
I don't have any official numbers, but just from talking to people who have already voted and stating, I was number 73 or I was number 214 or whatever. So just very unofficial results, but certainly want to encourage those everyone to get out there and participate. Of course, 3 board seats, which is somewhat unusual. And then also the mill levy, which is so crucial to continuing to provide what we're able to provide. So just really appreciate people considering that and getting out and voting.
And that's basically what you've been doing, is just explaining to folks what the money is used for. You haven't been telling people how to vote. You can't do that. But
correct.
Just kind of explain, here's the money, here's what we're using it for, and the fact that it's not anything new, it's something that's already been in place for a number of years.
Absolutely, and we've tried to have some real intentional efforts to get that word out there, whether it's some big banners that you see around town or our brochures that you may have received or that you see, or information on our website, or just every opportunity that we get to talk about it. And of course, as we have talked about before, it's a continuation of a tax levy that's been in place for over 35 years, and that does not go for operational uses. That goes for equipment, technology, security, and safety features. It goes for new construction. It goes for renovations, things of that nature. So it really enables us to provide good quality, safe, reliable spaces for our students and our staff and our activities and our athletics. And then, as I said, up-to-date technology as we continue to move forward with that effort. And so just really appreciate people considering that. And then also, the hospital has a levy question also, and we want to encourage people to get out and vote regarding that as well.
That's right. They're same situation. It's not a new levy.
Correct.
It's a continuation of one that's already in place now that folks are paying for.
That is correct, yeah.
Well, good. Any news on any of these legal activities or actions that the board has voted to get involved with, the Gallup-McKinley County Schools deal? And then in conjunction with that, I know you've been working with a lot of school districts to work with the public education department on the comment process on the social studies?
You bet.
Curriculum.
Yeah, actually, absolutely. And a couple of things regarding the lawsuit that the district is currently a plaintiff in, that really just simply advocates for more local control on a range of issues, not one particular issue, but on a range of issues. And so most recently with that is the attorney, the lead attorney on that has drafted some legislation that I believe that we're going to be able to get in the hands of the Secretary of Education, and for him to review and hopefully have the opportunity to get that considered during this 30-day session, which is not easy to do because things on the agenda for the 30-day session have to be either germane to the budget or at the call of the governor. And so our hope is that the secretary will see the value of this legislation and then be able then to take that to the governor to get that done, which could accomplish what the lawsuit is trying to accomplish. And in regarding the social studies standards, it was interesting yesterday on a superintendent's call, about 30 to 35 districts have submitted some type of a resolution or petition to the public education department to delay, just as we did, to delay the implementation or the review of these standards so stakeholders could just have ample and appropriate time to review them, to make edits, to recommend deletions or additions, whatever the case may be. And so the word coming from the public education department was that, only 30 some odd out of 89 districts have submitted a resolution or a petition. So that must mean that that 2/3 are fine with moving forward. Well, that's not necessarily the case. They just may not have submitted something formally. So a survey went out from the Superintendents Association yesterday to all of the superintendents across the state, just simply asking a few simple questions. If they've done a resolution, if they've submitted revisions or feedback, and then also are they in favor of a delay? Mm-hmm. And so it'll be interesting to see what those results are, and I anticipate that it's going to be much higher than 30 to 35 that are asking for more time.
Now, who's doing the survey?
The School Superintendents Association.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it came from the president of the association.
Okay, not the public education department.
No. We're gathering the data ourselves to submit to them. Yeah.
Well, because some school districts may have a little more proactive boards, such as Artesia's, where the resolution was put forth and voted on and sent forward. And there are others that are probably still looking at and considering the ramifications, because as you know, in any of these types of actions, there's, well, if we do this, will this happen? If we do this, will this happen? And you've got to weigh all of those considerations when you make a decision.
You do, absolutely, because sometimes there are some unintended consequences of actions that are taken, but you've just got to take the information that you have at the time and make the best decision that you can with what you've got to go on at the time.
Sure.
and move forward.
Yeah.
So,
well, do you have anything else on your list that you'd like to share with us?
I don't have a list, Gene. I just want to come back a little bit, not necessarily to the mill levy, but to our mill levy brochure. And on the front, it says one town, one district, one family. It's great to be a Bulldog. And I just want to encourage people, although there are some issues, some very important issues, and I appreciate and respect the positions that people take, but just want to encourage everyone as we go through this time to keep that in mind: one town, one district, one family, and let's work together to do what's best for our kids.
That's right. That's and you see that at the schools, you see that in the athletic programs, you see that in the other extracurricular programs where the theater, the choir, band, that really is the focus of what's going on, and that's a good thing to be proud of.
It is, and we are very proud of that.
Yeah, very good. Well, especially when you see some of the stuff going on around the country in the news, there's some rough things going on in other parts of the country.
There are.
Be thankful for what we have here. Right?
Absolutely, and I am.
All right.
Thanks, Gene.
Got a football game Friday night.
Yes.
You gonna hang out up on the camera deck Friday?
Well, I actually went back to my principal days last Friday and made a number of rounds around the concourse, just checking on kids and checking on folks and doing my part to make sure that people are enjoying and doing the things they should be doing up there.
Pretty neat experience, and it was a good game, and will be interesting to see what happens this weekend. We've got Alamogordo and then Roswell and Goddard have their big game this weekend.
That will be, we'll be paying close attention to how that turns out.
That's right. Superintendent John Ross Null, thank you so much for your time.
You bet, Gene. Thank you.
All right, time for news. This is KSVP Artesia.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. It's a race that's considered a bellwether heading into next year's midterms. A Virginia governor's race still too close to call. The polls have Democrat Terry McAuliffe and Republican Glenn Youngkin running neck and neck heading down the home stretch of Election Day, now just 6 days away. Former Trump White House press secretary and GOP strategist Sean Spicer sees a win for Youngkin next week, and that's not all.
I think Youngkin's going to go over the finish line. I think that we're going to take back the House of Delegates in Virginia by a couple seats. And I really think that the underticket, Winsome Sears for Lieutenant Governor and Jason Vieira for Lieutenant Governor, are both going to come over the line, too.
Spicer talking with the Salem Radio Network's Hugh Hewitt. Yesterday, McAuliffe hosted President Biden in a campaign rally in blue northern Virginia. Wind damage, flooding, hundreds of thousands without power. That's the legacy of the nor'easter that slammed New York and New Jersey, as well as parts of New England, into this morning. President Biden to address the annual summit of 18 Asia-Pacific nations today. Mr. Biden will be appearing via video hookup.
The White House says Biden will reaffirm U.S. support for ASEAN-led regional architecture and discuss his vision for working together with allies and partners to address issues facing the Indo-Pacific region. It's the first time since 2017 that a U.S. president is attending the summit. Yesterday, Biden called the relationship essential after announcing a $100 million initiative to beef up engagement in the face of China's growth as a national security and economic adversary. The funding covers health spending, a new climate initiative, education, and programs to bolster economic recovery. I'm Julie Walker.
Watching Wall Street, stocks in positive territory right now. The Dow is up 33 points, the Nasdaq ahead 82, and the S&P 8 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Why are cash-out refinances such a big deal right now? Uncle Ryan tries to teach me something.
I really feel like right now might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've been doing this for 18 years now, and I've just never seen a market where the rates are so low and values across the country have skyrocketed as much as they have. That combination, I remember one couple in particular, they were looking to do some home improvements at the house, but they were worried about their payments going up. Well, with rates being so low and them building up so much equity in the home over the last few years, we were able to get them the cash out for those home improvements, and their payments actually went down a little bit. Every single situation is different, but it does happen more often than you think. So it definitely does not hurt to call.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to NMLSConsumerAccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
Participants in next year's Winter Olympics in China will be strictly isolated from the general public, could face expulsion for violating COVID restrictions. Correspondent Chris Bodine in Beijing says authorities going to great lengths to prevent a COVID-19 surge.
They, on the other hand, have built all the facilities. Everything looks really good.
They've had test events in terms of sliding, skating, skiing, hockey, everything like that. Everything seems to be all prepared. So the question really remains that what will happen over the next 4 or 5 months in terms of how the pandemic goes on.
And those games in Beijing should commence on February 4th. A resident of a high-rise condo in Thailand cut the support rope for a couple of painters. Apparently she was mad she wasn't told they'd be doing the work. Left them hanging above the 26th floor until a couple came to their rescue. The woman facing attempted murder and other charges. News and analysis, townhall.com. Redistricting, the subject of a court fight in Texas.
Voting rights advocates have filed a new lawsuit in federal court over Texas' newly redrawn congressional district maps. Now, the suit, filed by Texas voters and voting advocacy organization Voto Latino, claims the maps dilute the vote of communities of color. Texas was the only state to be awarded 2 new congressional seats earlier this year, with a population growth of 4 million people, nearly half of which are Hispanic. Jason Walker reporting.
Not male, not female. The United States issuing its first passport with an X gender designation. The announcement today from the State Department, which does not say to whom the passport was issued. Once again on Wall Street this hour, stocks are higher. Right now, the Dow is up 54 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Today's KSVIP is Terry Mullins. Terry is the vice president at PVT, and this is a big thanks for all that you do for the community. It is all greatly appreciated. Today, Terry, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Terry Mullins.
Just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy. My class there at MIT. Got skills. I'm a champion at D&D.
Hey, welcome back to the Good Morning Artesia radio show. It is Wednesday. I'm going to see if I can pull up the one of the highlights from the soccer game last night, the girls' soccer game. Girls beat Chaparral 2-0 and are headed on in the state soccer tournament. The boys were defeated last night by St. Pius 1-0. They got the goal in the overtime period, about 2.5-3 minutes into the overtime period. Let's see, make sure that's muted. Okay, let's see, because we have a description. So if you are listening, you probably will hear the Aaron Romo.
Nielsen near the Bulldog on the far side. She sends the ball open over. And it's going to end up at the feet of the goalie. She'll send it back towards midfield. Tupo's there to stop it, though. He gets a shot off. Up and over. It's going to land. That's to the goal, Artesia. Artesia goal. Tupo.
Nice rip.
All right. There goes Tupo getting a goal for Artesia. That's going to bring the score 2-0. In favor of the Bulldogs with 29 minutes left in the second half. It's one of those grip it and rip it shots right there, right?
Yeah, like I said, you can't scare.
So that was pretty exciting for the Lady Bulldogs last night. That second goal, that made it 2-0. And Lady Bulldogs would win. The first goal, let's take a listen to that description.
Sends the ball back towards the middle, does Chaparral. Tupo there to clean it up, gets it to Nielsen in the middle. She'll get a ball past the defender. She moves into the box, takes a shot from the right side, sends it off. Oh, it's going to go in. That's an Artesia goal. Artesia goal, Kirsty Nielsen.
So there's a couple highlights. You can find those on our YouTube page, KSVP TV on YouTube. We've also got it posted there on the website, on the KSVP TV website. So the girls' soccer team wins, and they go on. The boys, it was 0-0 at the end of regulation. They started the first of the two potential 10-minute overtime periods, but they do what they call the golden goal. You get the goal in sudden death, and it's over. And St. Pius got a goal about 3 minutes into the overtime period, and they win and will advance, and the boys soccer team is done for the year. They missed it by that much. Let's see what kind of weather we're going to have today. Hopefully not as windy as yesterday.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A cold front is moving into eastern New Mexico. That'll keep our temperatures pretty comfortable today with low to mid 70s, but the wind will be gusty up to 35 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, upper 30s and clear for the overnight hours and breezy. And then not as windy tomorrow. We'll stay around 70 on our afternoon high with sunshine, warming back up to the mid 70s and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Thank you very much, Steve. We appreciate that. Right now, sunshine, 51 over Artesia. We've got humidity at 32%. The dew point is 22 degrees. Our winds are out of the northwest at 12 miles per hour. Pressure at 29.92 and rising. Air quality index is 41, so we have good air quality. Our high yesterday was 83, the low 46. 1 year ago, 34 the high. 34 the high. 23 the low. And then our minimum 4-inch soil temps are between 62 and 63 degrees. Around the region, sunny, 52 in Carlsbad, 53 in Roswell, 52 in Hobbs. Around the state, Albuquerque, sunny and 41. 33 in Santa Fe, 27 in Cloudcroft, 37 in Ruidoso, 45 in Las Cruces, 35 in Farmington, 29 at Red River, 45 in Clovis, and over there in Lubbock, Texas, sunny and 52 degrees. And again, here in Artesia, sunny and 52. Well, apparently a lot took place at the council meeting last night. The mayor will join us next.
Hi, it's Maria and Brisa with the Tate Branch Auto Group. Are you in the market for a new car but don't know where to look?
Well, look no further. Here at Tate Branch Auto Group, we have had our used car managers busy buying vehicles to fill our inventory and to meet your needs.
That's right. We are bringing in new cars daily and getting them ready to hit our showrooms. But hurry fast because these vehicles will not last long.
And if you have no time to make it down to the dealership, that's not a problem. You can view our entire inventory on www.tatebranch.com, where you will have the ability to purchase your car online with front door delivery.
That's right. Come and visit us at www.tatebranch.com.
And we do it all. Need an oil change? Come on in. No appointments necessary. Brakes making funny noises? We've got you covered. Transmissions in the dumps? That's not a problem.
Come see us today at Tate Branch in Artesia, Carlsbad, Hobbs, or Roswell, where the selection of vehicles will not disappoint.
You've changed thousands of diapers, cut off hundreds of crusts, played hours of peekaboo and duck, duck, goose. But you'd do anything for your kids. That's why it's so important to protect them with life insurance from State Farm. State Farm agent Sandy Stockton will help make it easy and affordable to help you protect your family, no matter what the future holds. Because for the people you'd do anything for, life insurance could mean everything. Call State Farm agent Sandy Stockton in Artesia today. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Where can you find the best selection of beautiful and unique home decor in the region? Easy. Casa Decor in Ruidoso. For years, people from all over have come to Casa Decor for the best selection of rustic, real wood furniture, beautiful decor from the Southwest and beyond, and quality outdoor furniture and accessories that are built to last a lifetime. At Casa Decor, they have over 10,000 square feet of showroom for everything you need. Casa Decor opens 7 days a week from 9:30 to 5 at 1214 Meacham Drive in Ruidoso or online at casadecorruidoso.com. Proud supporter of local high school sports. When was the last time a bank asked you if you'd like to keep more of your money? At Artesia Credit Union, you pay yourself by avoiding big bank fees and all the corporate investors that go along with them. Let Artesia Credit Union help you achieve financial happiness. From home and auto loans to a working line of credit or sending your kids to college, membership is open to anyone who calls New Mexico home. Stop by the branch on 5th Street or log on to artesiacu.org. Artesia Credit Union, member NCUA, an equal housing lender.
Did you know Artesia Ford has been open for 50 years and owned by the same people for every day they've been open? I'd say they must be doing something right.
By the same people? So the person I bought my truck from might have sold my grandfather his trucks?
I bet they did. That's a family tradition I could be proud of.
Artesia Ford, open for 50 years and counting. Visit Artesia Ford at 307 North 1st Street in Artesia to be a part of a family tradition you can count on for the next 50 years.
Have you noticed the days are getting shorter? This is Jim Gill from Roswell Seed Company. I know it's kind of hard to tell, but we're on the downhill side of the year, so every day is a couple of minutes shorter than the one before, even though your plants need plenty of food and water to keep them healthy. Like those globe willows that are turning yellow. A good dose of the right fertilizer will make them bright green again. No matter what the problems you're having, we probably have a cure at Roswell Seed Company. But come see us soon, because winter's coming, you know.
Determined to improve his golf game, Ray Bush returns from a private lesson.
Carlton says I'm standing too close to the ball after I hit it.
No matter where you stand, you're never far from Bush Appliance. For more than 40 years, people have trusted Bush Appliance for name brand appliances, honest prices, outstanding service, and immediate delivery. So head for Bush Appliance and spend more time doing what you love.
So Carlton, can I get there with a 4-iron?
Absolutely. Eventually.
Incredible Printing is open for business. Located across the street from the Derek Floor statue in Artesia, Incredible Printing is Artesia's only local printer. Incredible Printing makes your business that high-flying brochure needed to advertise those new services or products. Incredible Printing also specializes in all carbon copy books and material. Georgia and her team at Incredible are excited for 2021. Incredible Printing is open in Artesia, across from the Derek Floor statue.
Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. Time, as we do a couple times a month, to bring on the mayor, Ray Miller, and recap city council news and information. And glad you could make it in today.
I'm glad to be here.
There was so many things last night. There was volleyball, there was soccer, there was city council meeting last night.
Well, the good thing we were indoors. I'm not sure soccer in that wind was probably as nice as folks would like it. But,
no.
It's a thing where I think I had youth football that I had an opportunity to go to at 7:30, and I chose to go to quarterback club. But the wind basically kind of laid down at that point. So.
Well, and the youth football, they've been using the complex out at JC Park, and that's turned out to be really popular.
Oh yeah, it's a thing where between their games and now the soccer, youth soccer is actually going a tremendous amount of use and really nice facility. Really indebted to the folks that did all of the donations to actually provide that, because the city did not pay anything in the development of that facility. So really a nice facility, and you see a lot of folks. Well, you saw a lot of folks in the old days. You just had to worry whether you're going to sprain your ankle walking over in the nearest gopher hole that you couldn't see in the Bermuda grass. But those problems are all gone at this point.
That's true. Well, where would you like to begin with
we'll just start at the top and kind of work down. We wound up, we had recognition of one of our city water employees. I think it was Jennifer, got a nice compliment on her person had come in right at the end of the day, didn't have exactly what they needed to get their water problem resolved. They told her that they'd run to the house and come back. When they got back, it was after 5 o'clock. She was still there. She took care of them, and they were surprised. I mean, because they figured, at 5 o'clock, the city locked the doors and left. But anyway, she stayed, took care of their problem, and it's a thing where it's nice to give an employee recognition for that. Likewise, on our consent agenda, we wound up having several promotions inside of our police department, and our new Commander Letcher actually attended the meeting. He asked to speak, but rather than recognize him up in the city departments and employees, we waited until council approved his promotion.
Probably good.
And then he spoke and thanked the council. And, obviously it's a great thing to actually promote your folks from within and to see them move up the ranks. And so that was really good. We had a period of hearing from visitors, and there were a lot of folks in our audience, but nobody spoke at that point. We had our typical reports in committee, but there was nothing exciting there. Under our personnel, each year the city considers awarding safety pay program bonuses or payments to the employees who have not had accidents, not been off for workman's comp and stuff. And that was approved last night. I think those are usually done in November, and so they'll be awarded like they have been normally. It's a thing where the fire department had a mutual aid agreement between Eddy County Fire and Artesia Fire, which was just basically an update to our existing agreement with new dates and all. That was certainly approved. And then under the community development, Jim McGuire has had a couple of meetings with the planning committee, the group of counselors that serve on his committee, and the discussion has been about the old armory at 405 or 409 West Center, about possibly looking at doing the asbestos and lead paint removal. There was some discussion about going ahead and approving that last night, but we had a quote on the asbestos, but we only had a per hour figure for the lead paint, and so the council asked Jim or directed staff to go back to the contractor, get us actually a quote so that we can see what the total bill for the removal of those items, since it's things that our own employees can't do legally or safely. We're not trained for that type of stuff, to get that in a position where at least the environmental hazards associated with those facilities would be taken care of. And so hopefully he'll be able to get that and bring it back at the next meeting.
Now the armory is not in use, or the military or the government doesn't own it anymore.
No, the city actually owns it, and the city has utilized it as storage space for a lot of our water department parts and stuff. But now with the really nice complex that we have up on Compress Road on the highway north of town, there's tremendous warehouse space and all, where all of the items that basically had been stored in that old airy building are now stored on nice shelves and a beautifully airtight facility that just, it's like night and day. In fact, that facility that we were able to acquire from Halliburton up there at auction was more facility than we would have ever been able to afford, and fortunately it went reasonably enough at the auction that it fell in what we anticipated we would spend for a much smaller facility.
Sure.
So it worked out really well. But
now, do those armories or those facilities, is there any time where the military or the government might come back and say,
No.
We need, so they're done.
They've deeded it to us.
Okay.
It's actually, city property at this point. It was a thing where they had the one there on North 13th, and they decided to actually sell it. There was a bidding process. The city looked at it, just because it would be a nice corner lot. But then it wound up being a thing where we knew that the school system was interested because it fit in with their property complex there with all of the sports facilities and stuff that they have in that area. And I hate to have taxpayer monies bid against taxpayer monies.
Yeah.
And so basically the city just stepped aside and the schools were successful at acquiring it, and they've really put in a lot of new facilities there to actually make that more of their warehouse and operating area. So it's,
but as far as the Armory is concerned, the city right now doesn't have any plans for it, other than what was discussed last night.
Right. In fact, there was some discussion at the planning committee with the councilors about, should we consider in the future actually taking down the buildings and selling it to developer, because it's a nice large block area. I think it's 4 acres or something in there that could actually be a nice track home area and all. You saw the development off of Bowman there just south of Park Junior High that took place a few years ago and really upgraded that community. This might be suitable for duplexes, but it's a thing where it might be senior housing. You never, but whatever it is, it's better to have it in private developers' hands and let them actually develop it to and put it back into the property tax base for the city, the county, and the utilization of our utilities. All the infrastructure is obviously there with water, sewer, electricity and stuff, to where it's ideal for a development if the property had all of it was cleared,
And that's what the discussion was last night.
The discussion at the committee was that last night all we were doing was looking at about getting the lead paint and the asbestos actually consider removing, and community development, Jim McGuire actually has funds in what he tags as professional services, and so he's got budgeted amounts that would actually be available to do this if the bids come in at any type of reasonable number, which is what we expect, to where he could move forward with council approval to actually get that done. Moving on, we wound up, the next item up was infrastructure, Byron Land Fair. Probably the thing that folks need to know the most out of his presentation was our fixing to do 20th Street project, paving. And actually there's a meeting, I believe, this Thursday at 5:30 at City Hall that basically is for all the folks on that area to actually get an insight as to what's going to happen, and also that they don't get caught unawares when their access to 20th is blocked at the end of their street, and they've got to find other ways to get out, type of thing. But anyway, that public meeting is Thursday at 5:30 this week at City Hall, and it's related to the start of the 20th Street project, because I think they're basically repaving that all along and through there.
And from where to where will
I
that
suspect
be?
it's from like Grand to Hermosa.
Okay,
and
Grand.
I know it's a fairly good-sized project. But anyway, and I think hopefully there's been notice to a lot of the folks that live in the area. But anyway, if not, that's why I wanted to make sure I mentioned it this morning. It winds up being a thing where we got into a lot of different items with the city clerk's area, and one of them that was actually later in our discussion, but probably need to make sure I mention to the public, is the fact that we're looking at the next meeting having a public hearing for the public to actually give input to the council. But it winds up being a thing where it's on redistricting our 4 council districts. Once they do the census every 10 years or something, then you're supposed to look at the changes that have occurred, population, culture, demographics, in other words, there are a variety of variables that you're supposed to consider because the census asks a lot of questions. So there's a lot of data that they have gathered on folks in our community. And basically, we hired a firm that has a fancy computer program that takes all the data, and they have given us two plans. Plan A is actually a plan that gets us within 5% of the shift. In other words, and what you see is like from 10 years ago, the number of residents now on the southwest side of our city has grown. Mm-hmm. And so as a result, with that population increase in that area, then that district that has that probably needs to shrink a little bit, to actually recognize that, or some of the folks that were formerly in that district need to go to another district so that they wind up, and so it generated a Plan A that is a 5% or within 5% of the ideal districting, and then there was a Plan B that is within 1%. So it's the more perfect plan. Now, the interesting thing when we got to looking at Plan A and Plan B, and actually at City Hall, and then also I think they were going to make copies of all these big maps available at the chamber so that folks could go down and look at them. One, we have a map of our existing districts because a lot of folks don't even know which district they live in.
That's true.
But then the Plan A has, it's got about 4 or 5 maps, and some of it's blown up in certain sections so that you can actually see your streets and try to figure out where the border lines are between the various districts. But anyway, those are available for folks to look at, and we'll have a public hearing at our next council meeting to see if the public wants to input on whether the council should consider Plan A or Plan B. And then the council will need to make a decision and adopt the districting. In Plan A, our existing councilors would actually remain in their districts. Under Plan B, the way the lines were drawn, both of Councilor Rodriguez and Councilor Mariscal would be moved into the district with Councilor Mullen and Councilor Moreau. And then Councilor Moreau would actually be moved into the district with Councilor Hill and Councilor Hagelstein. Councilor Bratcher and Councilor Yahtzee would be still in their district, but there would be no councilors in what was formerly the district for Councilor Rodriguez and Mariscal.
Yeah.
And so as a result, it's kind of an interesting thing if they actually voted in the new plan and it was Plan B, then those councilors who would no longer live in their district would have to resign because they're no longer in the district if we adopted Plan B, and then we would wind up having to appoint councilors to serve from November until the next election, and then those seats would actually all come up on the next election rather than it just being normally the 4, one from each district where they were vacated seats.
And a couple of them would be for a 2-year term, and a couple of them would be for a full 4-year term. Wow.
Yeah.
So how anxious are they to vote themselves out of office?
Well, and last night all we did, some of the counselors came in early to kind of look at the maps. We tried to give them a good explanation of the maps. It's a thing where, I'm easy either way. I can certainly see that, one of the rationales for looking at Plan B of getting to the 1% is because over the next 10 years, there'll even be a greater disparity of population if you're in the 5% because of the fact that the areas that have grown, like on the southwest side, continue to grow.
Well, that's what I was going to ask, Mayor, is how much does the Plan A and Plan B account for what trends that they analyzed coming up with the maps and what it's going to look like in the next 10 years?
They don't. They look at the changes from the last 10 years to where it is now, and then they try to take the various variables that are a part of it. It's not just ethnicity or population. There's a whole bunch of variables, and that's why, they come up with a 5% plan, and they come up with a 1% or as close to what they see as perfect at this point. So, if you were looking at it just ignoring the counselors and their seats, then you would probably say, well, the 1% would be best because our changes that have occurred in the last 10 years are probably going to occur similarly in the next 10, and as a result, this area could develop well. Now, also, you have things like the Yates Farm tracks there. There's been a couple of houses now that have gone up, but that property extends all the way over to the Aquatic Center in Bowman. So if development in the next 10 years fully filled that, then obviously that district would expand. Well, its population would expand significantly because of the new rooftops there. But it's also a thing where in the last 10 years, you now have 2 new rooftops. So it hasn't been the prolific development that, has occurred that you see out in the area that Steve Usherwood and Van Webster have actually done. And then I believe the new development on to the west was done by the Canyon Stone folks who have the apartment complex. I think they were actually the developers of the tract out there. And I was certainly worried because you see things proposed for development, but then they don't occur. Well, the city had quite an investment in extending Hermosa out.
That's right.
If it became the street to nowhere, it's a problem, but obviously there has been significant housing development that has occurred out there, and in fact the city had to extend the street even further because they're now in the process of developing the second phase of that on west of the initial phase. So, but it's a thing where I'm easy. I can see the counselors just because of the radical changes that might occur adopting the Plan A. But anyway, we'll see how that all goes at the next meeting.
But there will be a public hearing for
public to comment, and that's one of the reasons that Chamber was there last night, Haley Klein, and so we're providing her with a copy of those maps because you need a map of your existing districts and then comparing to the Plan A and the Plan B, because where I live there in the Country Club area and the Canyon Stone apartment area, right now that's in the district with Kent Bratcher and Jeff Yahtzee. Well, even under Plan A, we're moved into the Mariscal Raul Rodriguez district, Canyon Stone in the Country Club neighborhood. And under Plan B, we're also in the district that no longer has any counselors, but includes the area that, that they used to, or a lot of what they used to be in.
Sure. Well, it's every 10 years you've got to kind of go through that, and this is the year to do that. So.
Yeah, and the council, I'm sure, will come to a conclusion of one or the other, and it'll work either way. It's a little more interesting if they decide on Plan B than Plan A because of the upset of the existing council. But it's a thing where it can be done whichever way they decide to go.
All right. We're going to take a break real quick. There's still more from last night's Artesia City Council meeting. We have the mayor with us. Stick around. We'll be right back after this.
Now for a Pecos Valley News update, I'm Jared Cirillo. The Eddy County Sheriff is warning of yet another scam making the rounds. It's a familiar one, though. Sheriff Mark Cage says the office in the last few days has received numerous reports that someone is calling, claiming to be Sergeant Ray Williams of the Eddy County Sheriff's Office. The caller tells the potential victim that they have an active warrant for their arrest, and then the caller demands that you go get a prepaid gift card in order to pay a fine. Please always remember that no law enforcement agency in the country operates in this manner. And if someone is demanding that you pay a fine with a prepaid gift card, that is always a scam. New Mexico reaching a grim milestone on Tuesday, having more than 5,000 deaths from COVID-19. Most of those hospitalized with the virus were unvaccinated, health officials say. 93% of the 1,039 people who died in New Mexico from the virus from February to October were not vaccinated. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo.
Need to ship a package? Choose UPS. Need to ship a package UPS from Artesia? Bring your package to Brown Drug. Brown Drug wants to be your UPS shipping center in Artesia. Use Brown Drug as your UPS shipping center and we'll reward you by shipping your 11th package 5 pounds or less for free. If you want to make sure your package arrives on time, use UPS. The easy and convenient place to ship UPS in Artesia is Brown Drug at the corner of 4th and Washington.
Welcome to DSI, New Mexico's business technology leader. We help you digitally transform your business to do more, faster, and more secure. Selecting DSI gives you access to the world's best technologies, award-winning local technicians, and our commitment to the New Mexico communities we serve. One local source for all your technology products, services, and the personalized support you can only get from DSI.
It's time for the Eddy County Sports Report, and we've got some soccer scores to pass along to you. A good day for Artesia girls. Oh, so close for the Artesia boys. In the girls' game yesterday, Artesia, this is a playoff game, opening round. Artesia, the 5th seed, knocks off 12th seeded Chaparral at home 2-0. Kirsty Nielsen had a goal in the first half, and then Mali Tupu had a goal in the second half. That was all the scoring the Lady Bulldogs would need. They advance. They'll play 4th seeded Los Alamos in the next round. Meanwhile, the Artesia boys playing host to St. Pius, traditionally a tough program, and St. Pius wins this one 1-0. The Sartans' goal came in the first overtime, and that's the end of what was a pretty good season for the Artesia boys, who finished 12-7-2 overall. The Sports Report brought to you by DSI. Call DSI for all your office technology needs. I'm Eric Butler at KSVP Radio, AM 990.
Castle Rentals has a huge selection of top-name brand appliances now in stock. Washers, dryers, refrigerators, stoves, and freezers are in stock now at Castle Rentals, 2616 West Main in Artesia, your local family fun rent-to-own furniture store.
Hey everyone, with today's Cowboys Report, I'm Christy Scales. Guard Zach Martin addresses the what-if scenario of Cooper Rush filling in for Dak Prescott. You'll hear from Zach after this.
What does it mean to be a part of Cowboys Nation? At Reliant, it means powering the home of the Dallas Cowboys and homes of Cowboys fans across Texas and helping out when needed most. As an electricity provider, it's our commitment to every customer and their family, and it's as strong as our Texas roots. It's our promise today and for generations to come. Reliant, proud to be the official energy provider of the Dallas Cowboys.
PUCT number 10007.
Whether you're getting ready to purchase a home, setting up a college fund for your kids, or preparing for retirement, you're working hard to live a life you love. And you deserve peace of mind knowing your home, loved ones, and future are protected. At SWBC, we can help you assess your personal situation and create a customized solution to make sure you're prepared for whatever life throws your way. Visit SWBC.com to learn about your mortgage, insurance, and wealth management options today. That's SWBC.com.
The Cowboys are back at practice installing the game plan for Sunday at the Vikings, and we're still not sure how much Dak Prescott will practice this week because of a strained calf. All-Pro guard Zach Martin, who missed 5 games last year with a calf injury, admits that it's not exactly next man up if backup quarterback Cooper Rush has to take over for Dak.
Yeah, I think you'd be lying if you said, hey, if your starter doesn't play, that means you just go out there and play like you have. I think, especially up front, put a little more on us to kind of keep the run game going, keep the pressure off him, and not be in those third and long situations where they can tee off. So definitely kind of just tighten the screws across the board.
Don't be surprised if Dak is listed as limited participation following today's practice. With the boys at the Star, I'm Christy Scales.
Hey, welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show. And we have Mayor Ray Miller with us, and the city council met last night, and we've been kind of letting the mayor go through and recapping the discussions and actions. Where did you want to pick back up?
Right. Well, we had several other things that were very important last night. We have in our city 2 retirement programs. Each employee can actually pick PERA, Public Employee Retirement Account, or they can pick diversified, which is like a more traditional 401k. So last night we needed to add a couple of members to our 401k, or what we call diversified board. Resolution 1763 appointed a couple of additional members there. Then we had the next resolution also dealt with the diversified, because initially when a lot of this was set up years ago, the city matches a 3-to-1 contribution to whatever the employee has withdrawn from his salary, whether it's withdrawn for PERA or whether it's withdrawn for the diversified. Well, those were set years ago. The state has required over the years increasing contributions by the employee and the employer to where we now are paying more, or have been for the last few years, than what we're actually doing for our diversified. And so what we did in Resolution 1764 was ask our employees who are in diversified to increase their contribution by 1%, and the city increased its contribution by 3%, to wind up getting it closer to where it's similar to the PERA. Of course, the concern in doing that, and that was approved by the council, the concern in doing that is the fact that the employee, by paying more to his retirement program out of his paycheck, would have a lower net take-home pay. And so the next item that the council considered is we did a 2% pay increase for all of our employees. It didn't matter whether they were PERA or diversified, but that way the ones who are diversified, who would be paying 1% more, will actually get a 2% raise, which by the time we take off taxes and stuff should make their net take-home pay not be any less than what they actually are receiving now. It also wound up being a thing where the council approved a 1% increase in our entry-level positions, because what we have done in years past is we would give our employees a raise, but we wouldn't change any of our salary schedules, and so our beginning entry-level positions were still at a very low rate, which were not competitive with surrounding communities. But at the same time, we really don't want to raise our beginning rates to where somebody who's been with us for 3 months and we hire somebody into the same job classification makes the same, because obviously the 3-month employee now is more knowledgeable, has been better trained. So that's why the 2%, 1% was just to try to account for a new person wouldn't make the same as even a relatively new employee doing the same work. It's also a thing where the council looked at adopting a retention stipend for our employees, and this would be done in November. And last year we did a couple of different stipends. They were 6-month retention at $2,500. And so the employee basically signed a contract. If they received the $2,500, then they had to work for us for 6 months. If they quit let's say after 3 months, then they were obligated to pay back $1,250 because they didn't fulfill the 6 month. It's trying to keep our good employees for as long as we can. And council actually approved last night a $5,000 1-year retention for our full-time employees, $2,500 for our part-time employees. And also we're looking at possibly receiving some funds from an outside party for police and fire, and if we are successful at concluding that, we'll actually award certified police and certified fire a 1-year $7,000 retention award. And it's also a thing where included in that was the fact that, like currently in our fire department, we have people who are in training to become certified fire EMS. Well, they're not eligible as trainees for that, but once they become certified, let's say that they actually receive their certification in January or February, they will be eligible to receive the $7,000 with the end date being still October 31st. So their prorated repayment schedule would be based on whenever they became certified through October 31st, so that it would be a real incentive. It's a carrot, an apple for them to actually do. Likewise, for some of our regular employees who are new employees who are on their 6-month probation, they will be eligible for the incentive as soon as they come off of probation. And part of the rationale is that, our greatest turnover is obviously in our new employees. And once they pass probation or once they become certified, then the chances of them staying with us for a long time is much higher. And we appreciate our employees, and obviously through this last year, many of the departments have, with the hiring freeze, have lost employees to where a lot of our employees have had to work a lot harder to try to keep things in as good a shape as they are. One example that I use periodically is our Streets and Parks Department. Prior to COVID, they were 14 employees. Today, they're 9 employees. Well, that's because we lost 5 employees due to attrition. But, unfortunately, they are struggling, obviously, to cut all the grass in the summer at our parks and still maintain the street repairs that need to be done because they're 5 people short. It's a huge reduction in their department. And certainly the council is going to have to look at certain departments to see if things, our revenues have actually been improving. Obviously, the work that has been going on over here at the refinery with the new biodiesel facility, as well as the turnaround that they're involved in now, has really added to the gross receipts and lodging in our community. It's short-term economic development, but it's really been felt in a very strong way. I was crossing the street going to church the other day with a man who I didn't know. We got to visiting, and we had traffic on Grand Street on a Sunday morning. So we had a chance to visit while all the cars were going by. And when we crossed, he says, well, I'm actually part of the problem because I've been here a month, and I'll be here 1 more month. I'm working out at the refinery on the project out there. And I looked at him and I says, sir, you're actually a blessing because you're adding to our economy, and we appreciate you coming to church. And it's a great thing to have those type of things. And I look at, economic development around our state. They're always talking about, this movie's going to be in for 10 days in the state doing this short film, and it'll add this many jobs. And I'm thinking, well, yeah, but we're giving them a credit that may actually exceed or be as great as what they're spending inside the state. Well, the refinery actually undertook a $350 million biodiesel rail and plant facility addition They didn't get any money from the state. They didn't
Right.
ask for any property abatement of taxes from the county. They didn't ask the city for any special privileges. I mean, it's true economic development, and hopefully it extends the life of the plant and facility here for many years to come, and adds permanent jobs.
It's one of those head scratching things there. Now, if that had been a marijuana diesel plant, then maybe you would have gotten some activity from some state officials. But let me ask you this: you said the retention bonuses, that was a continuation of a program that has been in place for a while, or did you?
We had last year, we did a couple. When we received some of the state money, the council recognized that our employees had, obviously not seen raises and stuff, and so we did 2 different 6-month periods of, I believe it was $2,000 each period. We have, this year we have actually received some additional money from the federal government through the state, which, some of the communities who didn't have the problems with gross receipts, they've got to find particular uses for those that actually qualify. We believe because of our significant downturn in gross receipts that we can actually utilize these money to replace, lost revenue into our general fund. And as a result, we saw it as an opportunity to try to actually provide our employees with a one-time thing. It doesn't raise their base salary, so it doesn't raise our ongoing cost in future years of salaries, but it comes at a really good time here right before the holiday season when
Sure.
everybody's trying to spend a little more, and unfortunately many folks go into debt. I always encourage our employees to save part of it because, a lot of folks don't have savings to where if they have a rainy day, if the car breaks down, it's a crisis, to just afford the repair bill.
Has the council, did they weigh doing that? Obviously, they approved that versus maybe going ahead and hiring some people to fill some of these positions that you have on the freeze.
The first thing is to take care of our existing employees because they've been with us through the struggle. And so you want to recognize them first. There's discussions, and we will actually be approaching our department heads to have them try to identify where the critical shortages actually are so that council can then try to see if our revenues continue to be relatively strong. Can we add some positions back and open up some hiring into certain areas that would actually provide some relief for the folks who have been a little overtaxed in their occupations. But that's why, in the fact that they're the ones who have gotten us through, you really need to take care of your existing employees before you start looking at adding employees. And I appreciate the council's wisdom at making sure that we try to do something for our existing employees first and then see if there are areas that we can justify raising our overall total cost.
Okay. Got about 4 minutes left in this segment. Would there be some other things to cover? The
only other thing is we had to do a resolution for our election. We did that. And then in December, we only have one meeting, and we set that date for December 14th. And then we talked a little bit about Halloween. We obviously have done a proclamation to request that folks observe Halloween on Saturday night instead of Sunday night. I know there's been some controversy over that.
A little discussion, yeah.
One lady called me and told me that, she already had her work schedule set where she could do it Sunday night and couldn't do it Saturday night. And I'm like, well, I'm sorry, ma'am. And in fact, we probably should have thought about it earlier. Unfortunately, we didn't until the council meeting before. And so as a result, but to me, it makes sense. It's a thing where this community largely doesn't have youth sports activities on Wednesday night because of church. And obviously Sunday, we have not had youth sports activities, and as a result, it also is a thing where the kids going to school on Monday, if they're out trick-or-treating late and then they go home and they eat all the candy and then they're up all night with the sugar high, they probably aren't learning much on Monday.
But there's not going to be a trick-or-treat enforcement squad running around town on Sunday.
No. And, Councilor Moreau said that he was going to trick-or-treat both nights, and he was going to hand out candy both nights. And I says, well, I've already thankfully been to Walmart before the shelves became kind of bare.
That's true.
Because we usually have quite a few folks come to our neighborhood for trick-or-treating, and I've prepared 250 individual quart-sized bags with 14 individually all wrapped candies inside each bag, so that the first 250 trick-or-treaters that come to my house
on Saturday
will actually receive a nice bag of candy. Well, I mean, in my neighborhood, the lots are a little larger, so, people are walking further to get from house to house. Not all the neighbors actually, they just turn their lights out and don't answer the door. And so I figure if folks come to my neighborhood, then they ought to at least be rewarded with a nice thing. Now, sometimes it's hard to get the bag of candy in the little container that the kids are carrying.
That's true.
But anyway.
And Main Street has their big deal on Saturday night, and the highway department agreed to close the street down. So that's pretty exciting.
Yeah, and it's a thing where I think some of the churches are still having some activities on Sunday evenings, and that's great. I mean, I don't have any objection to what people decide to do, but it just seemed like, obviously there have been times when we had a football game on Friday night and Halloween fell on Friday that they moved it to Saturday. Just seems like in this community, with as many folks as who are faithful to church, and many of the churches hold Sunday evening services, that it made sense to actually consider that. I mean, I see our community as faith, family, and fellowship as being our strongest points, and I'm thankful for that, because truly it's a thing where I see us as being very different from most of the large metropolitan areas around the country, both in our work ethic and in our faith beliefs.
Mayor Ray Miller, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it. And we'll see you again next time.
All right. Take care.
This is KSVP Artesia. It is 9 o'clock. Let's see if there's any
news this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Democrats still trying to seal a deal, but Senator Joe Manchin predicts they are not going to be able to do it today, and possibly not this week. Congressional Democrats continue haggling over a compromise social spending plan, the price tag somewhere around $1.75 trillion. President Biden met yesterday at the White House with several key Democrats, part of the ongoing negotiating process. Senate Republican leader Mitch McConnell says the Democrats have deceived themselves into believing they have an FDR New Deal-style mandate or an LBJ Great Society majority.
This is a 50-50 Senate, a 3-seat majority in the House. The American people are not asking for any of this.
Heading down the home stretch, the Virginia gubernatorial candidates, Republican Glenn Youngkin and Democrat Terry McAuliffe, they're in a dead heat, according to the polls. McAuliffe, who previously had said that an unpopular President Biden was a drag on his campaign, held a rally with Mr. Biden yesterday in the Democrat stronghold of Northern Virginia. Republican Youngkin suggesting that may actually help him. Election day in Virginia now just 6 days away. Cleanup, the order of the day across the Northeast. The region blasted by a powerful nor'easter that brought fierce winds and flooding rains. The National Weather Service's David Roth says storms moved offshore.
Kind of like the 1991 storm on this date 30 years ago. The Hurricane Center is actually watching it for signs that it could become a subtropical cyclone because it's supposed to move east-southeast out to sea.
And more than 250,000 utility customers, many of them in New England, have been left without power in the aftermath of the storm. Stocks are mixed on Wall Street now. The Dow down 110 points. The NASDAQ 54 points higher. The S&P 2 points in the red. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Why are cash out refinances such a big deal right now? Uncle Ryan tries to teach me something.
I really feel like right now might be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I've been doing this for 18 years now, and I've just never seen a market where the rates are so low and values across the country have skyrocketed as much as they have. That combination, I remember one couple in particular, they were looking to do some home improvements at the house, but they were worried about their payments going up. Well, with rates being so low and them building up so much equity in the home over the last few years, we were able to get them the cash out for those home improvements, and their payments actually went down a little bit. Every single situation is different, but it does happen more often than you think. So it definitely does not hurt to call.
We are United Faith Mortgage.
United Faith Mortgage is a DBA of United Mortgage Corp. 25 Middle Park Road, Melville, New York. Licensed mortgage banker. For all licensing information, go to nmlsconsumeraccess.org. Corporate NMLS number 1330. Equal housing lender. Licensed in Alaska, Hawaii, Georgia, Massachusetts, North Dakota, South Dakota, or Utah.
China ordering a halt to skyscraper construction in most cities, issuing a stern warning to any local officials who greenlight such a project.
China's now home to some of the world's most extreme skyscrapers, including the 128-story Shanghai Tower that looms over the country's financial center. But attitudes are changing. Earlier this year, a tall building in Shenzhen in southern China had to be evacuated because it was shaking. Soon after, Beijing banned the construction of buildings more than 500 meters high over concerns that some buildings were approved with little concern for practicality or safety.
The BBC's Celia Hatton in Beijing. A Moscow-bound Egypt Air flight returned to the Egyptian capital shortly after takeoff today after a threatening message was found on board. Egypt's flagship airline saying the flight returned safely to Cairo International Airport. News and analysis at townhall.com. A preliminary report on last month's deadly Montana Amtrak derailment fails to answer one key question. What caused the accident?
The report issued Tuesday said the train's emergency brakes were activated and that Amtrak estimated the damage at more than $22 million. The westbound Empire Builder was carrying 154 people when it derailed on September 25th, just west of the town of Joplin, Montana. 44 passengers were taken to local hospitals with injuries. The train was traveling just below the maximum allowable speed limit for the track when its emergency brakes were activated. Keith Peters reporting.
We may learn today whether any criminal charges will be filed in connection with the fatal movie set shooting in New Mexico. The local sheriff and district attorney will hold a news conference. Actor Alec Baldwin fired a prop gun. The movie's cinematographer was killed. A director was wounded. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Today's KSVIP is Terry Mullins. Terry is the vice president at PVT, and this is a big thanks for all that you do for the community. It is all greatly appreciated. Today, Terry, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Terry Mullins.
Just too white and nerdy. Can't you see I'm white and nerdy? Look at me, I'm white and nerdy. I wanna roll with the gangsters, but so far they all think I'm too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Think I'm just too white and nerdy. I'm just too white and nerdy. Really, really white and nerdy. My class there at MIT. Got skills. I'm a champion of D&D.
Hey, we're back. Welcome once again to the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and it is Wednesday, the 27th day of October, and we are rolling through the day trying to clean up some stuff. Who does Clay and Buck? Looks like Clay and Buck has Governor Brian Kemp. Brian Kemp is the governor of Georgia. And if you'll recall, earlier this year, the state of Georgia has been kind of on the forefront of the voter fraud, corrupt November general election that saw Trump lose to Biden. And then later in a special election saw two Democrats get elected to the Senate from Georgia, which then tipped the balance of power to the Democrats in the Senate as 50-50, 50 Republican senators. Was it 48 Democrat senators, but two independents caucus with the Democrats? I think it's either 48 or 49 with the independents caucusing with the Democrats. And since the party in power in the White House is the Democrat Party, the vice president is the Democrat, and the vice president breaks ties. So that turned leadership of the Senate over to Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. So Georgia, and, you know, President Trump not happy with the Georgia governor. There were accusations against Trump that he threatened the Georgia governor with what appeared to be, based on the way it was reported, an unethical or illegal request to, quote unquote, find votes to turn Georgia. That turned out not to be accurately reported. And so Trump, you know, since the election has expressed some displeasure with Governor Kemp. The state of Georgia legislature passed some election reform measures to try to ensure the integrity of future elections in the state of Georgia. And some people accused the state of Georgia of passing legislation that was racist and horrible and awful and illegal and disenfranchising and all this other kind of stuff. Even though the measures that were passed by the legislature and signed by the governor in Georgia were no more restrictive than most other states, including the home state of the president. But in any case, the media said it was racist and bad and awful and horrible, and so therefore it was. And corporate America was pressured, and the Major League All-Star Game, which was scheduled to be in Georgia, Major League Baseball moved the All-Star Game out of Georgia because they couldn't stand to have an All-Star Game in a state that just passed these racist, horrible, terrible election reform laws. And so they moved it to Colorado, which, by the way, has similar, if not stricter, voter registration laws and voter integrity standards than what the state of Georgia passed in order to try to ensure the integrity of their elections moving forward, given all the controversies that surrounded the November general election, what happened in Georgia. So here we are, fast forward to today, and the Atlanta Braves baseball team is in the World Series. And so the World Series will be held in Georgia. I'm surprised that Major League Baseball didn't move the Atlanta Braves baseball games out of Georgia to Colorado for the World Series. But in any case, they've done nothing, and the Atlanta Braves will be in the World Series. And this is 6 months after the All-Star Game had been moved to Colorado after the passage of the voting integrity legislation in the state of Georgia. So Brian Kemp, who is the governor of Georgia, is going to be on Clay and Buck's show today. Let's see, 12:34 Eastern would be 10:34 Mountain Time. So in the first hour, Brian Kemp will be on there. And I'm telling you, and it's the woke culture, the culture that we have today, and it's been amplified through the social media platforms, has got normal, average people, corporations, and institutions so messed up and so afraid of anything right now that they're buckling and capitulating to things that make absolutely no sense. And sometimes sometimes it comes back and bites you in the backside big time. And I think Major League Baseball, I mean, if you were in Georgia, in Atlanta, and you were preparing for all of the economic activity associated with an all-star game coming to a Major League Baseball city, only to find out weeks before that the game had been yanked away and been moved to a totally another city, I think you'd be a little upset. I think that's wrong to do those things. There's nothing wrong with the legislation passed by the Georgia legislature. Some people may look at it and say they didn't go far enough. But to do something stupid like that is insane. And at some point, somebody's going to have to put their foot down and said, PETA's on the phone, you want to talk? No. This social media justice warrior group is flooding our social media with posts about how evil and awful we are. Should we react? No. We're going to carry on business as usual. We've done nothing wrong. At some point, more of that is going to have to happen before this stops, because it's not going to stop. It's never, ever good enough. Whatever it is that a major corporation does to try to satisfy the social justice warriors, whatever it is, it's never, ever good enough. There will always be someone else. There will always be something else. There will always be something that will be offensive to someone. And now that we got you to react to this, we're going to hit you with this, and we're going to hit you with this, because I think the ultimate goal for a lot of these people that push these things is not the justice that they're seeking to achieve, but I think it's from a Marxist or a communist philosophy that wants to tear down big business, tear down corporate America, tear down America, for that matter, and turn us into a socialist Marxist state. And this is one of the ways that they do it. Kim Commando talked about the social media platforms and how when Facebook came up with the ways that you could react to stories like the anger emoji, their algorithms discovered that the posts that got the most response and generated the most traffic and generated the most content commentary were the posts that people were angry. And Facebook makes their money by selling advertising and exposure to people on their platform, to other people that want to be exposed to people on their platform. It's an advertising sales platform. If you think for 1 minute Facebook has as its goal, as its agenda, the sharing of social content amongst their members, you're naive. That's not their purpose. Google's purpose is not to be the common sharing point for all the world's knowledge. Google's purpose and Facebook's purpose is to generate as large an audience of users as possible so they can make billions of dollars selling advertising and impressions to people wanting to reach that user base. And so they find, and you heard it in the Kim Commando update. So you heard the anger emoji stuff, the anger response stuff, the dislike. Well, that generates all this traffic. And so what did their computer algorithms appear to do? Make it more likely that you would see things that made you angry on your news feed and in your social media feed, because that generated shares, comments, posts, and all the other kind of stuff. So we get mad at major traditional media for manipulating things and generating fake news. But now we're finding out that the social media platforms are manipulating the type of content we see. Not because they want us to join a cause, not because they think that this is right and that's wrong, but because it generates traffic that they can sell. And so you wind up getting fed constant info that makes you mad, and we just walk around mad all day because of what you're seeing on Facebook and on the social media. So it's going to take more people just turning that off and not feeding the anger monster with your reaction to it. We're going to have to do that. And look, it's the same way with talk radio in some cases. It's the same way with cable news. You know, what was the old adage? If it bleeds, it leads. You know, Paul Harvey used to talk about how the fact that you can't build a news organization around all good news because nobody would pay any attention to it. So is Facebook doing anything that hasn't already been done? No, they're just doing it more efficiently because of the computer technology and because we, as users of Facebook, just tell Facebook everything about us. They probably know more about you than your kids know about you or your spouse knows about you. And we've willingly and purposely done it and joined in and are a part of it. And then we wonder why we walk around angry all day. It used to be, well, if you wanted to walk around angry all day, watch the evening news. Well, I don't want to walk around angry all day, so I'm going to turn off the evening news or I'm going to watch somebody else. Now it's everywhere. It's in the cable news. It's in the social media, and it was constantly pumped with this negative stuff. It's got to weigh on everybody. And then the real news that's negative, you pile that on top of that, and it's all right. Let's try something that shouldn't be just all negative. Let's try the weather. Steve?
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A cold front is moving into eastern New Mexico. That'll keep our temperatures pretty comfortable today with low to mid 70s, but the wind will be gusty up to 35 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, upper 30s and clear for the overnight hours and breezy. And then not as windy tomorrow. We'll stay around 70 on our afternoon high with sunshine, warming back up to the mid 70s and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.
Sunshine, 58. That doesn't make you angry. I don't know what will. Let's see. Humidity, 25%. Dew point is 22. Winds are out of the northwest at 18 miles per hour. Our air quality index is 40. We have good air quality. Got up to 83 the high yesterday, 46 the overnight low. 1 year ago, 34 was the high, 23 was the low. Minimum 4-inch soil temps are between 62 and 63 degrees. The sun will set at 6:10 this afternoon and will rise at 7:12 in the morning. Sunshine, 57 in Carlsbad, 57 in Roswell, 56 in Hobbs. Around New Mexico, 44 in Albuquerque, 40 in Santa Fe, 31 in Cloudcroft, 41 in Ruidoso, 52 in Las Cruces, 41 in Farmington, 31 at Red River, 52 in Clovis, and over there in Lubbock, Texas, sunny and 55 degrees. Sunny and 58 in Artesia. You know, look at the issues that are affecting our school board election. I'll mention this. We have a lot of interest in the school board this year. More so than I can remember that we've had in many, many, many years. We have 3 open positions on our school board, and we have 3 candidates running against the 3 incumbents. So when you get to go vote, or if you voted already, you're most likely going to see the mill levy continuation. You're going to see the hospital mill levy continuation. I think there's another state board type thing that you'll probably see on there. And then most likely, if you live in one of the three of the 5 school districts, you're going to see 2 names for school board. We haven't seen that in a long, long time. But I have a feeling that what we see in the news and what we see on the social media and what's happening around the country, is it Loudoun County, Virginia, is a prime example of a really bad situation between parents in their community and their school board and their superintendent in Virginia. And we see it in other school districts in other places. Clay Travis, for example, the Travis and Clay and Buck show coming up next. Clay Travis lives in Tennessee. He is a parent. He went to a school board meeting where they were trying to convince the school board there where his kids go to school to not pass mask mandates. And he and a lot of parents there. So we see this all across the news. And I think it affects how people think about what is going on in New Mexico and in their schools here. And I think you have some people that don't want that type of thing to happen here, and that's what in part is motivating them to run for school board. But I don't know of anybody that's on the school board that's in favor of any of the things that we're seeing in the other parts of the country and is opposed to many of these things that we're seeing happen in other parts of the country. But we live in a state where we've decided that we have a king or a queen, and all things that happen must come from the king or the queen. So that's where we really, in addition to everything else, and I'm sure there's other, there's lots of reasons why people decide to run for things, but I have to believe that seeing what's happening nationally is influencing the reasons for people running. But we've got to be aware of that. We've got to be on the lookout and on the guard for that type of thing. But we also have to understand where the flow of authority is in the state of New Mexico, and it comes from the Queen of New Mexico, Michelle Lujan Grisham. She is the queen. She dictates what her different minions and departments do and what we're allowed to do and what decisions we're allowed to make more restrictively than in some of these other states. And so all this effort that we're doing to be interested in and get involved in with the schools or the city council or whatever also has to be focused at our friends up north in New Mexico, at our legislative body, and at the people that are in other parts of the state that are going to be an important part of this decision. We've got to figure out a way to convince enough legislators to wrestle back some of this power away from the Queen and turn it back over to the legislature, in many cases where it belongs, or in the case of things like school boards and other entities like that, we've got to turn it back over to the school districts so that the parents, through the election of school board members, still have the ultimate say-so on how kids are educated and how our school systems are run. We got it. That it's all got to be part of the package. We have to be passionate and want to run for school board. That's great, but we all of us have to be focused like a laser on making changes in Santa Fe and getting rid of systems that prevent the people from being able to be in control of their destiny. It's got to happen. Now, some people, the governor's very popular in the state. People like having a queen. They don't have to think about anything. They can just go about their lives, and if something isn't right, they can go to the queen, and the queen will say, well, we'll give you this money for that, or we'll give you this food card for that, or we'll give you this program for that. And there's some people that like that. There's some people that are a fan of the feudal system. I just thought we got away from that a couple hundred years ago. Anyway, let's take a break. We're going to open up the Zoom room. We're going to welcome in Aaron, see what he's working on today. Our CVE update still to come this hour, so don't go away.
If you live in the Artesia Public School District, you have a 5 mil election coming up on Tuesday, November the 2nd. This levy does not raise taxes. It simply continues taxes at the current rate, which have been in effect for more than 35 years. All mill levy dollars are controlled locally by the school district for the benefit of the district's programs and students. Funds raised from this 5 mil levy are used to provide the Artesia Public School District with continued security and safety projects, upgrades of academic, activity, and athletic facilities, increased opportunities for career, technical, and vocational education, and provides for continued upgrading of electrical, plumbing, and air conditioning at all facilities. Funds are used to provide classroom furniture for students and staff and ensure learning environments have excellent air quality and meet thermal comfort standards for all seasons. Remember, this is a continuation of a current tax. This does not raise taxes. If you would like more information or you need to find out your voting location, contact Superintendent John Ross Knoll at the Administration Office. Election Day is Tuesday, November 2nd, and early voting is happening now. This announcement is paid for by the Artesia Public Schools.
Jesus once said, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Hey, I'm Pastor Nolan with Catalyst Church in Artesia. It's safe to say that we've all faced trouble over the last year. Work, school, sports, and many other social functions have been dramatically impacted, and we're still not quite back to normal. It can be overwhelming just to think about all the changes we have faced. Jesus' words still ring true for us today, and we can have courage knowing that no matter what we face in this world, there is one who has overcome it. I want to personally invite you to Catalyst Church on the corner of 13th and Hermosa in Artesia. The dress is casual, the teaching is helpful, the music rocks, and your kids will have a blast. Our worship service begins at 10 a.m., and we would love for you to join us. We hope to see you this Sunday at Catalyst Church.
As the effects of COVID-19 impact us all, PVT recognizes the risk to our community, employees, and customers. We are taking common sense protective measures while providing the vital communication services you need. Our technicians are on the job taking care to ensure their safety and the protection of all of us. Service and support are still available over the phone at 575-748-1241 and online at pvt.com. PVT is committed to keeping our community connected during this challenge.
I am Dan Banks, running for District 1 School Board in Artesia. Defending you and your children's rights is my top priority. I believe in parental choice in both masks and vaccinations. I am strongly against critical race theory being taught. Questions? Contact me at danbanks@usa.net or call 575-484-3575. Remember, Election Day is this next Tuesday, November 2nd.
High-flying action is back on the High Plains as Eastern New Mexico University men's and women's basketball is back on the hardwood. ENMU has a thrilling home slate as they welcome in conference rivals and national runner-up West Texas A&M, in-state rival Western New Mexico, and many other exciting matchups that you don't want to miss. Season tickets start as low as $50 for the 2021-22 season. Call 575-562-2153 or visit goeasternathletics.com for more ticket information. ENMU Greyhound men's and women's basketball. All in.
Mays Lumber has all the hard-to-find hardwood you've been looking for. Oak, cherry, walnut, poplar, and maple. Plus, hard-to-find exotic woods like purple heart, zebra wood, ambrosia maple, black limba, and bloodwood. Perfect for that one-of-a-kind gift piece or table. Get ready with Formica and Wilson Art countertops in 12-footer custom length with installation available. Make it happen at Mays Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell, serving southeastern New Mexico and beyond since 1934.
Pecos Valley Broadcasting, the multimedia group that brings you Mornings with Mike Winters, New Mexico Military Institute Sports, Dallas Cowboys football, Roswell High, Artesia High, and Goddard High Sports, is looking for a full-time account executive for the Roswell market. This is no ordinary sales job. Become a member of a veteran sales team. Your pay includes a guarantee plus commissions and is performance-based with earning potential to exceed $70,000 a year. If you or someone you know is perfect for this opportunity, submit your resume to jobs@pvbcradio.com. Pecos Valley Broadcasting is an equal opportunity employer.
Hey, welcome Welcome back on the Good Morning Artesia radio show, and you are frightening me again, Aaron, with the crazy woman from San Francisco as a bat, which is probably what she is normally.
And she's not a young bat.
No. She's an old bat for sure. That's funny. Hey, did you hear about the lady that is suing Kellogg because her strawberry Pop-Tarts don't taste strawberry enough?
I heard that this morning.
She wants $5 million.
Just don't buy it.
That's what I said. If they don't taste strawberry enough, go to local bakery and get some stuff that actually has real strawberry in it.
That's what happens when you have an entitlement society.
I know. No, I agree with you entirely. That's usually as a consumer, that's usually my reaction to these types of things. Well, I'm just not going to go there anymore. I'm not going to buy that anymore. I'm not going to do business with them anymore.
Can I sue New Mexico because they don't have a good governor?
She's got the Supreme Court in her side.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I sue the U.S. government for having no president?
Now, the governor did come out yesterday and make a statement regarding the Alec Baldwin shooting incident on the film set in Santa Fe.
Oh, really? Did she blame the gun?
Yes. No. Let's see. She signaled Tuesday, typical politician, that her administration could ask lawmakers to strengthen safety guidelines for film production in New Mexico.
Why don't they just follow the safety guidelines that are there?
She makes it sound like there are no safety guidelines at all whatsoever.
Yeah.
People just run around willy-nilly playing with guns and say, here, use this on the film.
And I don't know if the picture I saw online of the armorer was a real picture of the armorer, but if it is, then hiring somebody that maintains that type of appearance is your first mistake.
Yeah. Well,
the fact that they appear that way shows how much thought they put into everything else they do.
Yeah. Now, the state's Democrat governor, this story is in the, where was this published? No, I don't want to sign up. Oh, this is an Albuquerque Journal story.
Oh.
The governor who pushed to eliminate an annual spending cap on New Mexico film incentives said during a news conference she is still awaiting the details of law enforcement officials' investigation into the incident, but she described it as horrible, unnecessary, preventable tragedy and should never happen again. Quote,
True.
My expectation is the industry better step up and identify any number of additional improvements and safeguards. If the industry doesn't come forward with very specific, accountable safeguards, they should expect that we will. But again, we don't have the full investigation, but everything I've read so far, Aaron, they weren't following the protocols that are already in place now.
The basic common sense protocols that have kept people from getting killed for many years. We had the Brandon Lee incident, which probably safety protocols weren't done there too. But I think his was actually the dislodge something with an actual blank in the gun. So
right.
It's too close to him.
And that may have led to a lot of the safety protocols that are in place now.
I believe it did, yeah.
That clearly, or I say clearly, apparently were not well, we don't know. We weren't there. But they apparently were not followed in this particular case.
A bullet made it into a gun that was fired on set toward the camera. Something wasn't followed properly.
That's right. So, but we're going to pass more laws because we're going to fix that. And,
It doesn't matter. They didn't follow the regulations already.
Yeah. She didn't threaten to take away their incentives.
Yeah. Or fine them for not following the regulations that are in place.
Oh, my gosh. You mean enforce the law?
Enforce it? Yeah, you can't do that with libs.
Oh, yeah, and they showed...
Only conservatives have to follow the law.
That's right. And speaking of Nancy Pelosi, the Batwoman there, San Francisco closed down another In-N-Out burger.
Oh.
They've closed 2 now because in California, it's okay to poop on the streets of San Francisco. That is okay.
Yes.
But you better not go into an In-N-Out Burger unvaccinated. And if the In-N-Out Burger does not verify your vaccination status before they let you in to eat food, they will be shut down.
Wow.
But it's okay if
they
you're...
need to move 2 locations, one to Carlsbad, one to Artesia.
Yes.
And open up a new road called Let's Go Brandon Drive. Right there.
And I'll go eat at In-N-Out Burger. But
yes.
Do people not see the stupidity of the 2 actions?
It seems clear as day to me that you got people pooping on the road. Those are probably your biggest problem you need to take care of.
That's a health hazard. If nothing else, these are people that need help. These are people that should not be on the streets. What happens to that's why we have sanitation systems and wastewater treatment plants and all this other kind of stuff, so we don't make people sick.
It's like one of the first things you learn to do, like right along with talking and walking, you learn how to do that.
You learn how to do that. And then as a city and as a community and as a government, we come up with, for hundreds of years now, we said we can't have it on the street. It's got to be over here. It's okay to do that in San Francisco, but if In-N-Out Burger does not demand that you demonstrate you've been vaccinated, it is a health hazard, and they have to close their location.
Not discounting the fact you might step on a hypodermic needle as you're walking down the thing and get fentanyl in your veins and die right there.
I know, but oh my gosh, you ate a burger place without a mask on, without being vaccinated. Oh my gosh.
That's the real danger.
That's the real danger. I just... let's see. How do jack-o'-lanterns get so strong?
How did jack-o'-lanterns get so strong? I don't know.
By pumpkin iron. What's black, white, orange, and wattles?
Black, white, orange, and wattles. I don't know.
A penguin carrying a jack-o'-lantern. Let's see. And then the last one I'll share today. Why was Cinderella not very good at softball?
Oh, it's Cinderella not very good at softball. You got me on that one. I don't know.
Because her coach was a pumpkin.
It took me a minute there.
Her coach was a pumpkin.
Coach was a pumpkin.
Yeah,
yes.
yeah.
What do you call 6 witches in a jacuzzi?
Witch's brew?
Self-cleaning coven.
Ooh.
I heard also there's a new graveyard social media site for Halloween.
Okay.
It's called MySpace.
MySpace? I actually knew somebody that had a MySpace page.
My wife did back in the day, long ago. Or are you talking like recent?
No. That's no, not recent. No, long time ago.
Yeah, and my wife had one before Facebook.
Yep.
So, and I've got to use Chelsea Clinton here because that's the only one I can think of here. I'm not saying that Chelsea Clinton is ugly.
Yeah.
But one Halloween, she went to tell the neighbors to turn down their TV, and they gave her candy.
Come on now. She's married and been on TV and...
Thankfully, there was a dowry, right?
That's right. That's exactly right. Yeah, that's kind of sad. Let me think of somebody that would be more currently appropriate. I don't know.
I think she's had plastic surgery since then, too, so she's probably a lot better.
That's true. So, very helpful.
Beauty is in the eye of the beholder. It's not all about looks.
That's right. What was the joke? What do you get when you cross a lawyer with a politician?
What's that?
Chelsea. And that's all I'm going to say. They're not. She's not in the news. She's not part of what's going on.
Yeah, she's not too bad.
Yeah,
that's the only one I can think of off the top of my head. So I had to use this.
Well, I'm sure I'll get some other suggestions here via the.
Probably so. Yeah. Oh, Hunter Biden.
That's a pretty good one right there. That's current.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Have to come up with some Hunter Biden Halloween jokes for next time. So.
Ones that we can tell on the radio. Please make sure of that.
Yes, yeah, radio friendly as possible. Of course, those two don't mix that
well. I'm going to work on a couple myself. So.
All right, very good.
There you go. Well, shall we get into your report?
I suppose we shall.
Here's Aaron.
All right, this is Aaron Irving with LPL Financial, member of FINRA and the SIPC, bringing you your morning stock market report for Wednesday, October 27th. The blue chip Dow Jones Industrial Average fell from a record high today as the momentum from a strong earnings season starts to fade. The 30 stock average dipped 0.2%, falling for the first time in 4 days. The S&P 500 traded near the flat line, while the tech-heavy NASDAQ composite traded 0.5% higher amid a jump in Microsoft. Microsoft shares jumped 4% after the tech company reported earnings that exceeded analyst estimates and the fastest revenue growth since 2018. General Motors shares fell more than 3% even after the industrial giant topped Wall Street earnings and revenue estimates for the third quarter. Boeing saw its stock fall 1.4% after the aircraft maker posted a wider than expected loss, and Robinhood shares were getting slammed down 11% today after the day after the trading app reported revenue well below expectations, primarily due to weakness in crypto trading. So far, roughly 30% of the S&P 500 has reported earnings. Of the names that have posted quarterly updates, 82% have topped earnings expectations, while 80% have exceeded revenue estimates. Strong results have been key to pushing the major averages to new highs. The S&P 500 has rallied more than 6% in October, on track for its best monthly performance since November of last year. The equity benchmark reached its 57th record close of 2021 yesterday. Coca-Cola rose 2.6% after the company beat on the top and bottom lines and raised its outlook, saying the business was getting stronger, particularly in areas where the COVID recovery has been the best. Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is updating.
A pause in the data?
It's updating.
Oh, okay.
Currently, the Dow Jones Industrial Average is down 114 points to 35,642. The S&P 500 is 1 point lower at 4,573, and the NASDAQ Composite is up 65 points to 15,301. West Texas Intermediate crude is down $1.25 to $83.40 a barrel. Stocks of local interest, Holly Frontier Corporation is down $1.67 per share to $34.56. Walmart is 63 cents lower at $148.12 a share. EOG Resources is down 75 cents a share at $94.25. And Apple is 5 cents higher at $149.37 a share. This is Aaron Irving with Oakley & Irving Wealth Management, serving business owners and energy industry professionals in the Pecos Valley and beyond. You can find us at oiwealth.com. We're at our offices in Artesia and Carlsbad. You can call us at 575-887-7075. All indices are unmanaged and may not be invested into directly. Securities are offered through LPL Financial, member of FINRA, and the SIPC.
Well, I only found one Hunter Biden that we could actually tell.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And this is Joe talking to Hunter. Hunter, if I win, you're getting the first pardon. I guess that's funny.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
It's sad. It's sad. It's really sad. So
sad but true.
Sad but true. Okay. You have a wonderful day today, all right?
All right, you do the same, and hopefully my internet doesn't update in the middle of the report tomorrow.
Oh, I'm sure it will at some point. So
it will at some point.
That's right. All right, thanks a lot. We are going to take just a quick break and be back with our CVE segment next.
The truth and nothing but. This is the Sean Hannity Morning Minute.
The Wall Street Journal points out his performance revealed why so many Americans are losing confidence in his presidency. We take no pleasure in pointing this out since the U.S. needs a president who can handle the strains of the job. And I'd add to that, the world needs a strong United States. You know, the president's stumbling and mumbling in his speeches, but his frequent confusion about major issues of the day is a reason for growing public concern. And he thinks this joke about the school kids on his job is to avoid answering media questions. Then he's coughing and coughing and coughing and goes and shakes people's hand. I'm like, man, you know, whatever happened to the super spreader events?
Keeping you on the straight path. Later today, it's the Sean Hannity Show.
Hey, remember the saying, if you love something, set it free? Now, if it doesn't come back, it was never yours to begin with. Well, when it comes to your identity, our friends at LifeLock, they're kind of calling BS because all those nights working overtime, saving all that money, paying off all that debt, and now some identity thief wants to try and set it free. They say that's crazy talk, and we agree. Now, that's why LifeLock by Norton helps monitor your information. They will alert you to potential identity threats. If you're a victim, you'll get a dedicated U.S.-based specialist that will help fix it for you. No one can prevent all identity theft, monitor every transaction of every single business. But when identity thieves try to take what is yours, don't take it lying down. LifeLock sees the threats you miss on your own. And today you save up to 25% off your first year. Call 1-800-LifeLock. Go to lifelock.com. Use the promo code Hannity to save that 25%. That's lifelock.com, 1-800-LifeLock.
Hear from interim head coach Sonny Cumbie next on the Red Raider Daily Update.
For over 50 years, Gene Messer has been supporting Lubbock and providing Red Raiders with honest deals they can count on. We understand the importance of giving back to the community. That's why we're a proud corporate sponsor of Texas Tech University. Gene Messer, business done the right way for over 50 years. Here's to another 50 years and a Red Raider win.
How did all that FiberMax cotton grow so strong? Well, it's been a season sleeping on a bed of rocks, breathing dust and sucking wind. It hung out in blistering heat while fighting off posses of vicious pests and diseases. Yes, sir. That bounty of cotton grew so strong by being just as tough as you are. FiberMax cotton from BASF. Always read and follow label directions.
Interim head football coach Sonny Cumbie met with the media and answered questions yesterday. Here's what he thinks is the most important thing moving forward.
Making this the most enjoyable next 5 games for our players and doing everything we can to pour into those kids because that's ultimately what this is about. So very difficult profession we've chosen to go into, but you know, I am forever grateful for Coach Wells bringing me here. So you guys already know how emotional I get. So it's just tough. When you're passionate about people and you care about people and you know who's involved, it hurts. But at the same time, there's an opportunity that Kirby's asked us to step in and bridge the gap, and we're not looking at it as just bridging the gap.
The Red Raiders will try to become bowl eligible Saturday in Norman at 2:30 against the Oklahoma Sooners. And as always, you can listen on the Texas Tech Sports Network from Learfield.
Well, they're having fun over there at Texas Tech with their coaches. I was telling Leah before we went on the air, Texas Tech fired their football coach.
Wow.
Not at the end of the season.
Right in the middle.
Not like, hey, just letting you know we're not renewing your contract firing. It was, get your stuff and get out.
Goodness.
Now. So.
People are harsh these days.
Well, they expect... people expect winners, I guess.
I guess.
That's what we have going on. Anyway, a couple things I know you want to talk about today. I was reading the high wind advisory from the National Weather Service, and one of the things they mentioned is the possibility for power outages.
That's correct. Yep.
We didn't have any that I'm aware of yesterday.
Not yesterday. We had some really brief situations that were handled quickly and didn't really even show up on our reporting. So
yeah. But when you have high wind advisories and warnings, from a utility standpoint, what are you guys concerned about and that you're preparing for?
Well, Chuck, just the day before yesterday, asked us to be sure and put some words out to our customers and, of course, to the public. And we've got some information on our website as well as Facebook that this high wind or wind advisory is something that could be dangerous to the electrical lines. It could mean that there would be a down power line. That could mean a fire. So we want to avoid any of those kinds of things if at all possible. And the main concern this year is just because how dry everything is, the dry vegetation, the land. So we're trying to pay special attention to that this time because, not that we don't always, but just the situation seems to be a little more possible, let's just say. So with that, so typically if there's an outage, our system will trip 3 times before it totally shuts down. So if you get a blink sometimes and your electricity doesn't go out, it happens again, and then finally it goes out. If you're a CVE member, that's because that's how our system is designed. However, now we have 1 trip. So that way, if there is a down power line, our personnel can get there quickly rather than waiting for a 3rd trip. And that way the guys can get out there, they can identify it, and it may take a little while, a little bit longer to find out where that trip is, but then they can work on it and get taken care of safely. So the main thing is, and it's the same thing we teach our 5th graders, is just stay away from that down power line. It's not going to wiggle, it's not going to have sparks flying, it's just going to lie there. So you don't know if it's energized or not. So just stay away and make sure that anybody going towards it stays away. So until the CVE company or XL can get there to take care of it.
And the danger is not just the voltage, but it's the amperage of that is what makes it dangerous, because you complete a circuit if you come in contact with a downed power line.
So we teach voltage, that the voltage is the strongest right at the drop of that wire. So whether that wire's on the ground or on top of a building or on top of a vehicle, there is kind of a big circles that go around there, like if you threw a rock in water and it ripples away. So electricity, when it goes to ground, does the same thing. So it's the most intense at the middle, and then it kind of disperses out. So you have to stay far away from that. We tell the kids 100 feet. What we learn on safeelectricity.org is 50 feet. But I guess that all depends on how big your feet are. So we tell the kids to shuffle, heel to toe for at least 100 feet. But their feet are littler than our feet. So, you know, it's 100. It should be 50 feet in measurement to be in a safer zone. So either way, just stay away from it. Call your electric company and be sure to be prepared for that, because there is a possibility of those high winds again today. And
is it okay to use a cell phone?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, we teach that too, that it's safe to use a cell phone. Stay put. If you're anywhere near that situation, don't move. You can use your cell phone. So, yeah, it's a call for help. You don't want to just try to figure it out yourself.
Yeah, so be ready for the high winds and what they can do. So
yesterday was an ugly day, but
yeah.
I don't know what it's going to turn out to be.
It's going to be a little windy today, but I don't think it's going to be. I hope it's not going to be as ugly as it was yesterday.
Yesterday we were coming back from Hagerman, and right there where those farmlands are, right about that Lake Arthur turnoff.
Right.
We had to go really slow across that bridge because you couldn't see.
Yeah.
And it was a little spooky.
It got to be careful with that. And it's so funny because 4 months ago, 5 months ago, the desert was green. We had all this growth.
So much rain.
We had so much rain, and then it turned off, and now here we are with our dry situation.
Doesn't take long for it to dry out around here.
All right, October, you told me before we went on the air, is Membership Appreciation Month, or Member Appreciation Month, and you're kind of combining Halloween
yes,
and Bulldog football and member appreciation all into one fun event.
All kinds of stuff going on this week. So it's National Cooperative Month throughout the month of October. We've started our electrical safety demonstrations in the schools, so we've been super busy, been out almost every day somewhere, and then we've had other stuff going on. So because of that, we weren't really able to do an event. So on Friday, our office, of course, is open from 8 to 5. So if you've got your kiddos, you want to swing by, we are going to give out some candy, some trick-or-treat candy. But we're also going to have some new LED night lights, which if anybody knows CVE, we've had those now for years. And each year they get a little more sleek and a little more fancy. I don't know if you can actually see this one.
Let's see.
But it is... It's just really cool.
I'll hold it up to this camera here.
Yeah.
And...
So we're going to give those out to our customers that come in the office on Friday and until we run out, I suppose.
Okay.
And if we don't run out, then we'll save some for later. So that's a little treat, if you will, for our members on Friday.
Okay. Yeah. So don't throw toilet paper. Although, if you do throw toilet paper, keep it rolled up, you know.
Yeah, so we can use it. But, you know, every year it seems like we get a lot of people come in and bring their kids, especially if they have family that work at CVE. And we're still not having a lot of traffic in the building, but definitely in the lobby. So come over, bring your kiddos. We love to see the costumes. We love to give out the candy and stuff like that. So we'll be giving out some fun stuff on Friday. But then also, November 2nd, we are a voting location at the Jack Case Community Room. So you'll just park on that south side and come on in and do your voting. So they're going to set all of that up on Friday, get it ready for next week. And so that's happening. And then this is kind of an early time of year to start talking about it, but we've been asked to. So we are also a Toys for Tots destination.
Through the Marine.
That's right. I had a pencil in my hand earlier today, and I can't remember what it said. But they're collecting gifts earlier this year, and they're going to be giving all them out in Carlsbad, which includes Artesia, on December 18th. So we're going to start collecting Toys for Tots toys next week throughout the first week of December.
Okay.
So if anybody wants to drop off some toys, we're going to store them at CVE until we can get them to the folks that run the program.
Okay, well, that's good. And, I mean, there's all this talk that there might not be a lot of Christmas merchandise because it's stuck on shipping containers out off the coast of California and New York. You wonder how much of that is really true and how much of that is just, hey, if we can boost sales now if we start talking like this. But regardless of what it ultimately is, Toys for Tots is a very good program. They help out a lot of needy kids.
It is. We've done this now for several years. And also, we do a Christmas party for our employees' kids when they are 10 and under each year. And so each child gets a gift if that's what they choose to do or if that's what the family chooses to do. And this year, we've already passed out those wish lists so that they can get that list to us just in case we can't find a certain gift. And we give them 3 different options, like this is your first choice, second choice, third choice, and we'll do our best to find it. So that's one of the things that we didn't we were able to give out the gifts last year, but we weren't able to actually have a party, but we were able to give out gifts. So
well, you know, one of the most in-demand items now that Apple has,
what's that,
is a cleaning cloth.
They
have an Apple branded cleaning cloth for cleaning your phone screens, and it's like $25.
That's nice.
And it's on back order 10 to 12 weeks.
Oh, wow.
For a stupid cleaning cloth just because it has the Apple logo on it there. So.
Well, I know at CVE we go through a lot of those lens cleansing cloths for our iPads, our iPhones, whatever we have. And it, I could see that a one cloth might be nice to have.
With an Apple logo on it.
Especially with an Apple logo on it.
So there's a guy on YouTube I watch from time to time, Unbox Therapy. And the video is headlined, most unobtainable or most in-demand Apple product right now. So he walks in with a roller Pelican case, sets it on the table, opens it up. There's another smaller Pelican case inside. He takes that out, puts the roller case under the table, opens it up. There's a metal with locks briefcase in there.
Oh, my goodness.
He takes that out of there. Then he opens it up, and there's an Apple bag in there. And he takes the Apple bag out and puts on the gloves, reaches in the Apple bag and pulls out the box with the cleaning cloth in it.
Oh, my gosh. You have to covet that thing really closely.
And then he opens it up, and then he pulls out his Google phone and uses the...
That's funny.
It's kind of funny. And he doesn't say a word. It's about a 10, 12-minute video of this unboxing of the most unobtainable Apple product out there.
That's hilarious.
It's funny. It's typical Lou, but and then I think it's $25 Canadian. I think it's $15 or $19 because he's in Canada, but it's like $15, $19 here in the States. And he shows on the website they're back ordered 10 to 12 weeks.
Oh, goodness.
To get a stupid little...
Yeah.
So maybe that'll be on these Christmas wish lists.
Well, maybe somebody will come up with a knockoff that...
Oh, they will.
Take over.
They will. Well, how's it like getting out into the schools and talking to the fifth graders? Have they really been enjoying it?
Yeah, it's been great. And, some of the schools have increased amounts of students this year, and some have smaller amounts, so that's been interesting. But surprisingly enough, some of the schools that we thought had dwindled have not, so that was nice.
Good.
And, today we have Raylan and Brad went to Dexter this morning, and I didn't want to stand you up again, so I stayed back.
I appreciate that.
And then we're going to Central this afternoon here in Artesia. We get to go to Penasco this week, which is going to be a beautiful drive.
Yep.
And we've got another one on Friday, and I think that's at Hermosa.
Okay.
And then we have some more next week, and we have probably 6 or 7 schools that we haven't scheduled yet in Roswell.
Still working on that.
Yeah.
Customer appreciation Friday.
Come by Friday.
Just anytime. During your regular business hours.
Yeah, between 8 and 5. And like I said, we bought some new LED night lights, and if you've had them in the past, they are a lot sleeker. I can't even come up with a better word. They're just pretty.
It is. Yeah. They are.
So they just plug in real nicely, and you can hardly even see that they're there until you need it.
That's good.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So come by and bring your kiddos, and watch out for the wind. Don't forget Toys for Tots, and come see us on November 2nd to vote.
To vote, yeah.
Exercise your rights.
Vote early and often. No, wait, that's not right.
Every chance you get.
Well, not in the same election twice. Do that. Yeah, I got my sample ballot, so I've been studying it, so I'll be ready to vote on. I'm still a traditionalist. I vote on Election Day.
Me too.
But there's a lot of people that sure take advantage of the early voting, and this is the last week for it. So
yeah, well, we're happy to host it once again.
Very good. Thank you, Leah. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
And we'll see you back here tomorrow, folks. Today's KSVIP is Terry Mullins. Terry is the vice president at PVT, and this is a big thanks for all that you do for the community. It is all greatly appreciated. Today, Terry, you're going to receive a flower from Lovebud Floral and KSVP. Today's KSVIP, Terry Mullins.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. A cold front is moving into eastern New Mexico. That'll keep our temperatures pretty comfortable today with low to mid 70s, but the wind will be gusty up to 35 miles per hour. Plenty of sunshine, upper 30s and clear for the overnight hours and breezy. And then not as windy tomorrow. We'll stay around 70 on our afternoon high with sunshine, warming back up to the mid 70s and sunny Friday. That's your latest forecast. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton.